The Euro 2024 qualifiers live on Talksport.
England have qualified already, so tonight is about sealing top spot in the group, entertaining 86,000 fans and feeling sorry for Everton's Jordan Pickford in the England goal. You're in the right place. This is Talksport.
England have got the job done. England reaching an 8th successive major tournament, and they've done it with 2 games to spare. And Harry Kane is in, and he's round everybody before sliding it in.
I think Gareth has done an incredible job. We've got a bunch of young players.
Gets on the end of an Alexander-Arnold ball. Oh, he's lashed it into the top left-hand corner.
It's only a matter of time before they win a big one.
We've got probably the best squad in the world.
Alexander-Arnold here pings one in. That is a great strike to give England a 2-0 lead.
Love to see Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield again.
The vision that he has, the quality of passing, and he played with a great energy as well.
Big opportunities for the team, and for me also. So getting out there on the pitch and trying to take an opportunity that I've been given again.
England have got the job done. Que sera, whatever will be. They're going to Germany.
Good evening, I'm Adrian Durham, proud to be on England duty for the world's biggest sports radio station, Talksport. It's a 7:45 kickoff, so let's not hang around. Let's get the teams from your match commentator. Here's Jim Proudfoot.
Well, a very good evening to you. 5 changes for England tonight, with 2 of those brought in making their first competitive start since June 2022. Fikayo Tomori's last appearance in a competitive game came in a 0-0 draw with Italy that month. Colin Gallagher's last start in one came that same week in the 4-0 defeat to Hungary. There's a recall too for Mark Gurhey at the back. The midfield's reconfigured with Alexander-Arnold, Henderson and Gallagher replacing the injured Bellingham and the rested Rice and Phillips. So it's Pickford in goal. Trippier set to move to right back from left back. Maguire partners Gurhey at centre half with Tomori at left back. Alexander-Arnold, Henderson and Gallagher play in midfield with Foden, Kane and Rashford the front 3. Harry Kane hoping to score in an 8th successive game for club and country for the first time in his career. The bench like this: Johnston and Ramsdale, Walker, Lewis and Konsa, Rice, Phillips and Palmer, Saka, Grealish, Bowen and Watkins. Now Malta make 2 changes to the side that lost to Ukraine last month. There's a debut for striker Kemar Reid, who's been given his first call-up after an impressive start to the league season, and Teddy Toma, who plays in the French top flight for Gram, returns to the midfield. They line up with Bonello in goal, Joseph and Bong, Steve Borges, Pepe, Jean Borges and Karen Zuli, Guillaumier, Toma and Yankam, Paul and Bong and Reid, and Notts County striker Jody Jones is on the bench. But the headline selection, Fikayo Tomori at full-back for England. It's a position in which he's featured for 35 minutes in the last 35 months. And if he does indeed play on the left, it'll be the first time he started a game at left-back in his senior career for either club or country.
Jim, thank you very much. Stuart Pearce captained England, a World Cup and European Championship semi-finalist, as the England players come out to warm up. We'll speak to you, Stuart, in just a second, but Fikayo Tomori at left-back, your old position. Let's hear from Gareth Southgate. He's been discussing the lack of options he has at his disposal in that position.
In the last camp, we played Kieran there, we played Levi there. We feel at the moment they're the best options, and we have to adapt to the depth that we've got in any given position. So at left back, I think across Europe, people have got a similar problem actually. If I look at clubs, they're often talking about that role. Of course, only 1 in 10 people are left-footed, I think. So by a natural process of evolution, you've got fewer options. And I've seen lots of good teams do really well without perhaps a recognised left back. Germany won a World Cup with that. Manchester City have been playing, predominantly centre backs there for the last couple of seasons, or midfield player that has adapted. So you've just got to be flexible.
Interested from Gareth Southgate. Of course, Stuart Pearce, Luke Shaw, Ben Chilwell, both out injured. Rico Henry might be in the picture. He's out injured as well. And not many players are left back. I wondered if Gareth had given you a call. Is it easy just to flick from centre back to left back? Or is it a really difficult job to do?
I think if you're naturally left-sided, you can just slide across and play that position. But this day and age in the game, especially in a game where you have a lot of the ball, if you're England, it's what you do in the opposition's half and the opposition's last third that counts probably certainly tonight, it's going to count maybe 60, 70, 80% of how you're viewed and how you've played. So, I'll give you a great example. We went to the Ukraine game and Chile played left back, and I was bemoaning that he was receiving the ball probably 30, 40 metres out wide on the touchline and nothing was coming of it, and he should have made more of that opportunity. So it's what you do in that advanced area quite often as a left back. So you can be a centre half and go and play out there and fine, and you'll fill a gap. But what you really need is someone that can fill a gap defensively, and on top of that gives you that little bit of extra stardust, if you like, in the opposition's final third.
Some have made it look easy just switching into relating full-back and centre-back positions. Benedikt Höwedes was the one who did it with Germany, won the World Cup. A centre-back just moved out to left-back. Fikayo Tomori, as Jim was just saying, hasn't really played left-back, but he is left-footed, so it should come. He's a defensive-minded player, so it should come naturally to him, right?
Well, the defensive side of the game will come to him naturally, and that won't be too much of a bind for him out there. I think he'll be good enough one-on-one situations when he's faced with them this evening. But it's what you do in the advanced areas, and I don't think we're going to come away from the game, and I hope I'm really, really wrong in this statement, and think to ourselves, you know what, maybe Tomori is the way forward as a left-back, because we'll only judge that on what he does in the opposition's half.
So what's the point of playing in there tonight? Why can't you just play Trippier left-back where he has played before for England in tournaments, and play a recognised right-back at right-back?
Well, if you don't want to play Kyle Walker, let's say, tonight, I'm not sure the Trippier at left-back situation works like we're talking around the Tomori situation. Kieran can play at full-back, but I think you're watering down what he actually does. I think you've got to play a naturally left-sided player in that area, and I think even Trips is guilty at times of getting into advanced areas and then cutting back onto his right foot all the time, and I think you need, especially when we're playing inverted wingers all the time that always want to come inside and cut in. No one wants to go on the outside. You're relying on your fullbacks to do it. So if you've got a right-footed left back, he's never going to go on the outside.
We haven't necessarily got the makeup of the team that will bring the best out of Tomori in this particular position tonight, but when you look at the way that so many sides play with a back four these days, and one of the fullbacks will push forward into midfield. Now that's a role obviously that Trent performs very well for Liverpool. He's playing as a more conventional midfielder for England. But if you've got that, say you've got Rico Lewis playing at right back instead of Trippier tonight, he will push forward into midfield, and then the remaining three defenders become stretched out. Now Tomori could be perfect for that, because as a sort of a conventional stay-at-home left back who can then become the left-footed of three centre halves when you've got a full-back pushing forward into midfield and you've got somebody pushed in a more advanced role down the other side. So I think that there's a logic to it, but I don't know that we'd necessarily see the best of Tomori in that role with the other personnel around him this evening.
Yeah, Jim made a really good point there. All teams nowadays basically are looking to build with a three. Now it's how you do that. Is it the two centre halves, full-backs pushing on, and you're holding midfield player dropping in to make the three? Or alternatively, is it one of your full-backs pushes on and the other three defensive players sort of space out, if you like, to make the three? But quite often, if you're only building in a two, the opposition can normally nullify that quite easily.
Tomori then nominally at left back. Let's see how it all shapes up once the game gets going at 7:45. Midfield three is Jordan Henderson. Drive moaning about that. Conor Gallagher, who Darren Bent a big fan of on Drive earlier, and Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield again this evening. Earlier this week, he spoke to our England correspondent Faye Carruthers about the difference in his role for club and country.
I think with the ball, it's fairly similar. Playing that kind of, I don't know, there's many names for it, but that role for Liverpool means.
What's your name for it?
I don't know. I see people call it inverted. I don't quite know what that even means. Well, I would say like a hybrid kind of role. You play in two positions at once. It's a change in position, and it's very interchangeable. So yeah, a hybrid position. But on the ball, I'm in there. I'm getting used to being in midfield in the middle of the pitch, having that awareness of what's going on around me, and it's a completely different ball game. I'd say the biggest factor between the two different positions is defensively. Still has to be a right back for Liverpool, whereas here I'll be defending as a midfielder, and that's a completely different role. Probably less isolated in there, but need to know what's going on So there's a lot. I could speak for hours about the differences and the similarities, but essentially it's the messaging is go and feel that freedom. I get that from both managers and both teams, is that freedom to go and do what I do best, and I think that's get on the ball and help the team win the game, essentially.
I'm really liking Trent in this midfield role. Let's see how it shapes up for him tonight. He's won every domestic trophy going with Liverpool, we know that. He was spotted as a 6-year-old after winning a place. He literally won a competition to play for Liverpool. He won a place at a Liverpool Football Club coaching camp when his name was pulled out of a hat at primary school. And Stuart Pearce, growing up, he played as a winger, played central midfield, played centre-back, played number 6, and eventually he was moved to right-back by Neil Critchley and Alex Inglethorpe, the youth coaches at Liverpool, because they saw that as the best pathway for him to get into the first team. That's why he went to right-back, but he's been playing midfield, so it should be natural to him. Any position, the amount of positions he's played in his youth, it feels like he's got enough talent and enough football brain to play anywhere on the pitch, really.
Well, he certainly showed that, and I'm absolutely delighted he's playing in that midfield role again tonight. I think his ability to create from these deeper areas with longer passing are absolutely valuable to England. But I think that's the modern day way in the game, if you like, giving youngsters the opportunity to play in varying positions, because all of a sudden you might not ever be a professional footballer in one position or other. I remember as a kid anyway, and this was by chance, not by design, won my first medal as a goalkeeper, and then I played centre-half. I never played left-back before I left school. First time I ever played left-back was when I went to Wildstone, and you couldn't play centre-half because you get dominated by big monsters in non-league. So, you know, it changes the dynamics of it. But listen, thank goodness that Trent's coaches saw right to move him around a few positions.
You were a cat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I've read your book.
An agile cat as well.
Back in the day. Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield tonight, just the 21 England caps. Bearing in mind he made his debut in 2018 for England. Not enough caps for him. He doesn't get enough credit for being a big student of the game. Trent Alexander-Arnold says he watches every game on TV, and he insists that unlike maybe some Liverpool fans, England really does matter to him. He cares about wearing the 3 lions on his shirt. Atmosphere building nicely. We're getting fans inside the stadium for a 7:45 kickoff. We're expecting 86,000 in here tonight, even though England have already qualified and it's the easiest game in the group. What's it like outside on Wembley Way? Let's cross to our reporter on Talksport, Anil Kandala.
Good evening, Adrian. Thanks a lot for that. And as you say, you know, fans are making their way into the beautiful, iconic Wembley Stadium. And I'm glad to say I'm joined by Dan, the England fan. Dan, take us through how it feels to come to an England game on a lovely evening like tonight.
It's magical, isn't it, really? To watch England under the lights on a Friday night. What more can you want?
Exactly that. So go on then. You've seen the team. We've spoke about it briefly. Who are you excited to see play today?
I'm excited to see Trent in number 10 shirt, to be honest, tonight. I mean, I'm actually hoping he's going to get a bag a couple, to be honest, tonight.
Exactly that then. So go on then, give us a score prediction and how many are England going to win by today?
They're going to win by 6-0 at least. You've got to set hope. But Malta, are they going to cause an upset? Probably not. If they can get one goal, I mean, that'll be amazing for them. But we're going to win comfortably.
And there we go. And a wider aspect, obviously the Euros is going to very quickly approach us. How are you feeling going into that tournament, and can England do something they've never done and win the Euros?
I'm super confident that we've got a great chance. We've got the quality in youth with Bellingham and Foden, and the experience and game now, so people like Kane and Henderson as well, and in Southgate we trust.
Exactly that. Well, there you go, Adrian. A lot of confidence amongst these England fans, and rightly so. We will, of course, be bringing you live coverage of England versus Malta from Wembley.
Cheers, mate. That's we'll get more from Wembley Way. Number 10 on his shirt, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It just makes the mouth water, doesn't it? Actually, Pep Lijnders, one of his coaches at Liverpool, made him the captain of the under-16s way back when, and always said Trent would ultimately move to a midfield role. When he excelled at right back, he actually changed his mind on that, but we're seeing him in midfield, an advanced midfield position for England tonight. The take on Malta, the whipping boys of the group. England already through. They could seal top spots tonight, almost certainly will seal top spot tonight as well. You're going to hear it live on Talksport.
Philips presents One Blade Crown Jewels.
As a prince, it's important my moustache c'est magnifique, and my crown jewels are, how you say, free from floof. For this I need a blade much safer than a guillotine.
Are you pretending to be French royalty again? No.
Trim, edge and shave with confidence, even down there. Search One Blade 360. Innovation and you. Philips.
2 months to go. And I need toys. I need decorations. I need stockings. I need sprouts. I need something for him. I need something for him to give to his mother. I've got to drag an 8-foot tree into my lounge, then build a trampoline and gift wrap it. Elf duties are a full-time job, and this elf deserves a Christmassy coffee.
Our sticky toffee latte is now at Costa. That's Christmas made a little better. At Costa Coffee, Teignmouth.
Love barbecue sauce. Love crispy chicken breast fillet and smoky barbecue sauce. Love cheddar cheese with barbecue sauce. Love red onion oozing in barbecue sauce. Oh, everything's better with barbecue sauce. Introducing the new McCrispy Barbecue Smokehouse. Available until the 21st of barbecue sauce. Until the 21st of November. Served after 11 a.m. Subject to availability.
Let's go.
Let's go. Almost. Help, guys.
All right, I need
more
power. Turbocharge your gaming and reduce lag with EE Game Mode.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Whoa! Yes! And boost your broadband, even when everyone's online. Search EE Game.
EE Game Mode requires EE Smart Hub Plus.
What could you do in 60 seconds? You could wash up 2.5 dishes. You could delete 17 blurry pics from your phone. Or you could use Capital One's Quick Check to see if you'll be accepted for a credit card without affecting your credit score.
Nice.
Search Capital One Quick Check. Capital One, that's one good thing.
Did you know? Making your heating system more efficient helps save energy and money off your bills. Here's how in 3 simple steps. 1. Reduce your boiler flow temperature to 60 degrees, saving you up to £60 per year. 2. Bleed your radiators. 3. Get your boiler service to save on future repairs. There you go. It all adds up. For more energy-saving advice, visit gov.uk/save energy.
Welcome to 32 Red Online Casino! Incredible! Play over 500 games, including exclusive slots, the Cube, Tipping Point, and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here! Join 32 Red and get a bang tiny welcome bonus up to 150 quid. 150 quid? That's incredible! Visit 32red.com to claim. 18 plus begambleaware.org. New accounts only. Minimum £10 deposit. Up to 50 times wagering. Max stakes apply. Visit 32red.com for full terms.
The most watched Netflix show,
Squid Games, let's get real,
becomes a must-watch reality competition series.
Eliminated.
$4.56 million.
I want to get that money.
456 contestants. One life-changing prize.
Oh my days.
Make friends.
Dude, you're the brightest light in here.
Make enemies.
That is not fair.
Make millions. Squid Game, The Challenge. A real game begins November 22nd. Only on Netflix.
High-fidelity radio coverage. The Euro 2024 qualifiers live on Talksport.
It's our understanding here at Talksport, Everton have been given a 10-point penalty.
Everton have falsified their accounts, and there's real subterfuge in this.
Everton, according to the panel, and therefore according to the Premier League, didn't tell them the truth.
Myself and everybody at the club are shocked and disappointed by the ruling of the Premier League Commission. We believe the sanction is disproportionate and wholly unjust.
10 points is a bloody heavy penalty.
Well, if there's anybody you want to break the news on TalkSport, it's Jim White, right in his element this morning, breaking that news about Everton. Reaction there from Simon Jordan, Martin Lipton, and the Everton interim chief exec Colin Chong was on there as well. Everton hit with a 10-point deduction, the biggest sporting sanction the Premier League's ever handed down, and Everton fans fuming. I can understand why as well. We're going to talk about that shortly, but England looking to seal top seeding for the Euros, having already sealed top spot in the group. So ahead of tonight's game, let's check on the latest odds with Coral.
The weekend favourite on TalkSport with Coral. Get closer to the action and experience it all in-store or online at coral.co.uk. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Delighted to welcome Lewis Knowles with us on the show live at Wembley, where the teams are warming up. Lewis, what are the pre-match odds for tonight's game, England against Malta?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. So England, as you'd expect, very short price favourites. England 1-66 to get the win tonight. The draw's 20-1, and then Malta are 66-1. I was having a look. England have played Malta 5 times in competitive matches, and as you'd expect, England have won all 5, and Malta never actually scored a goal in competitive football against England, so they will be expecting a comfortable win tonight. But I was having a look through Malta's results. They very rarely sort of get completely embarrassed. I know we beat them 4-0, didn't we, in the return fixture? They lost 4-0 in Italy, but only lost 2-0 at home to Italy, so yeah, it might like I say, might not be a total embarrassment. So you can back England to win and under 4.5 goals. So that'll cover all of those 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 results. That can be backed at evens. And then just in the first goal scorer market, Harry Kane 2-1 to open the scoring. You then got Phil Foden and Marcus Rashford next at 4-1, and then Conor Gallagher at 9-1. But we do have a special on our website as well, so we've boosted Harry Kane to score a hat-trick from 4-1 to 5-1.
Hungary and Slovakia qualified yesterday, joining Austria, France, Belgium, Portugal, Spain, Turkey, Scotland and England, of course. Albania have just qualified, actually. They got a 1-1 draw in Moldova. That's enough for them to qualify. So the outright odds are England's favourites?
They are, yeah. England joint favourites with France. So England and France both at 4-1. Then Germany 13-2, Spain 7-1, and then Portugal 9-1. It's 14-1 bar those. But yeah, I do really fancy England. I think I'd rather be a backer than a layer at 4-1 next summer. I think we're going to have the best player in the world in Jude Bellingham in the side, hopefully. And with some games on home soil, I think we've got a massive chance.
No pressure, Gareth. Lewis, thank you very much. Those are the latest odds with Coral.
The weekend favourite on Talksport with Coral. Get closer to the action and experience it all in-store or online at coral.co.uk. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Well, as always, here at Wembley, there are so many England flags with club names on them. Coventry, Chesham United, Bristol City, Port Vale, Tottenham, Swindon. Down in the bottom right behind the goal away to our left, there's an Everton one, and you've got a feel for Everton fans right now. 10 points deducted for breaching the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules. All came about after Everton's losses from the 21-22 season were posted. They've exceeded the permitted losses over a 3-year period by £19.5 million. Henry Winter is host of the brilliant Sunday edition on Talksport, which funnily enough is on Sunday mornings, Henry, 9 till 11. You and Sean Custis really enjoy the show.
Thank you.
You're doing it live from North Macedonia, aren't you?
Yeah,
Sunday,
absolutely. Skopje.
And you're the Times chief sports writer, of course, with us live at Wembley here. Given, I do feel sorry for Everton and their fans, given COVID, the Ukraine war affecting Everton's finances, and the fact that they're trying to bring in a brilliant new stadium, for the showpiece Premier League. Have they been harshly dealt with here, Everton?
I've been around that stadium at Bramley Moor Dock a couple of times, and it is going to be fantastic. It's already been chosen for Euro 2028. It is going to be a remarkable addition to English football, to the Merseyside skyline. It will bring jobs to the areas, and absolutely, as you say, I think there is some sympathy out there for Everton. But also, if you talk to other clubs, they'll say, well, actually, we might have got relegated because Everton overspent in that period. I think what people, neutrals, whoever, would want to see is consistency. And I think if you look back to the 2009-2010 season, when Portsmouth faced the points deduction. I mean, they went into administration. They were being chased by the taxman. That club, you probably covered them that year. I mean, they were an absolute basket case of a club. And they got a 9-point deduction. So what is worse, going into administration or overspending by £20 million in an era when some clubs at the top of the table are spending twice that on agents and a transfer window? So, look, some sympathy for Everton, but they breached the rules. They deserve some punishment. I thought they would get 5 or 6 points. Maybe that's what will transpire after they've been to the appeal. But the Premier League's got to be consistent now. They've got to look at Chelsea. They've got to look at Manchester City. And if they have breached Premier League rules, then clearly they have been charged. 115 charges in Manchester City's case. Chelsea is still awaiting to see whether the FA or the Premier League will charge them over alleged secret payments in the previous regime. But you've got to have some consistency. There's got to be some fairness. Otherwise, fans will think, well, there's one rule for the wealthiest at the top and another rule for those lower down the scale.
Well, listening to the calls on White and Jordan on Talksport this morning, it basically was a lot of fans of other clubs baying for the blood of Chelsea and Manchester City, given what's happened to Everton. But the charges are different. It's not exactly the same things that City and Chelsea are alleged to have done that Everton have done.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And Chelsea self-reported as well and said this was for a previous era. But Manchester City, I know it's 115 charges, and I know each charge has to be defended individually, but it's a joke that it's taken this long, and there is only one winner in all this, and that is the lawyers. The lawyers are taking over football. If you're allowed to poke your head around the door of Premier League meetings, it's general counsel. What happened at Manchester United this week? Their interim chief executive is now their general counsel. The game has been taken over by lawyers. We should be spending this time, you, me and Stuart, discussing Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know you've been talking about that earlier, but the game has to be about the sport. It can't simply be about lawyers. Lawyers have their place, but they're taking too long with these decisions.
Let's bring in the former England captain Stuart Pearce on this. I want to know how the dressing room at Everton might be feeling about this. Jordan Pickford's going to be in goal tonight. We don't expect him to be troubled too much. Might have some thinking time on his hands. But one piece from Everton's evidence that really shocked me, Stuart, I want your view on it. Farhad Moshiri said in defence of Everton's losses, he stated that they had to replace what he called a, quote, non-existent midfield. And with the whole thing, 10 points deducted when they've been playing really well and getting results, I wonder how the dressing room, how the players will be feeling about this.
Yeah, I look at it probably from the dressing room's point of view and from the manager's point of view. I feel really sorry for Sean and his coaching staff. You know, they're close to me, so from that point of view, they were never there when this was happening, and all of a sudden that they've inherited it and lose points. The one thing I would say in Everton's favour at this moment in time, their last 5 games, they've accrued 10 points from that. If this decision was made 5 games ago, before they accrued those points, with the horrible start that they've had, and they were points adrift at this stage, 6, 8 points adrift from the bottom team or whatever, I think that would have knocked their lights out. Because they've had these 5 games and 10 points, with the points deduction, they're still only just inside the relegation zone. So I think they'll be comfortable and get out of it and be safe, and that's the most important thing for them.
Stuart, you've been in dressing rooms. Don't you think Sean Dyche will walk in before that? I think he's got Manchester United at home. What an atmosphere that's going to be in the first game after the international break. And he's going to say, listen, the Premier League are against us, the referees against us. That's managers always say that, but the Premier League are going to be against us. The siege mentality in that Everton dressing room is going to be absolutely rock solid.
I think if you want anyone in charge of this situation, Sean is the man for the job, for me. I don't think he'll give any wriggle room to his squad, any excuses. Yes, he'll use it as circle the wagons talk, but I think it'll be excuseless from his point of view, and say, I can see him coming out and saying, it is what it is, we've got to get on with it, it's out of our hands. And it is out of his hands. And what he's done over the last 5 games, they've turned Everton's fortunes around. This is just a stumbling block in them moving up the table, I think.
I think it's also a situation, Stuart, where it's kind of made for Sean Dyche in a way, because he can actually show everybody what he's made of and what he can do with the side. I admire the work he's already done with Dominic Calvert-Lewin with regard to his fitness. Attention to detail with that has been phenomenal to get the very best out of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and performances, just appearances from him as well. But I think by the end of the season, if Everton are even, dare we say, mid-table, top half of the table even, after having 10 points deducted, he can just stand there, look really smug with himself, and everybody can praise him.
Well, let's be honest with you. With the situation with the 10 points, I think they're still in a reasonable position because it's how they're playing and their form. What I would say is, it overly doesn't matter where you finish. If it stops you winning the league, it matters, and if it gets you relegated, it matters. Otherwise, does it really matter in the scheme of history of Everton Football Club if they finish 16th or they finish 12th? Or 9th, not really.
But even if the dressing room are cocooned from this, and as you say, Sean will absolutely have them stirred up and they'll go out and play, and I'm sure they will stay up. The problem for the club is also going to be, in the tribal world that we live in, the financial world we live in, other clubs will probably be taking Everton to court. So, having been charged, those teams who've gone down in recent years will look at, there's always a suggestion of Leeds and Leicester City looking at this already. Will they take Everton to court individually? And it's, there's so much politics, and I know there's so much money at stake, but football is so tribal that those Premier League meetings, it's just dog eat dog now. and this is going to be an absolute dogfight.
Well, Everton are just as guilty in their statement, saying we're going to be watching what they're doing with Chelsea and Manchester City. We've got to remember as well, very quickly, Henry, the King just announced the need for an independent regulator, and the Premier League are trying to say, no, we don't need one with this, aren't they? It's basic stuff.
Totally. It was so predictable, and they've been trying to do this. I mean, I've been pro-regulator, I mean, even before the European Super League, which I think we were coming in here for, was it the League Cup final or one of those, when we were coming in here and everyone was debating a European Super League and what that was going to do to English football. There is a distrust of certain owners, and that is why we need a regulator, to keep an eye on financial breaches, to bring in the sort of proper punishment, but also to make sure that when these breaches are ongoing, that actually people step in at the right time.
I think Henry made a really good point. He used one word there, consistency. I think that's all football fans want. They want a consistency of refereeing, a consistency of rules, a consistency of fines or punishments, just a level of consistency. That's all we want.
And by the way, those who tried to leave the Premier League were never punished for the European Super League.
Well, there you go, and that's one of the reasons why you talk to Everton fans and they're so furious about it.
Yeah, Henry, great to talk to you. We'll listen to you again Sunday morning, 9 o'clock live from Skopje, ahead of North Macedonia against England on Monday. Sunday edition, Sunday morning, Talksport. It's a great listen. Great to start your Sunday off with the Sunday edition with Henry Winter and Sean Custis on Talksport. These seats are filling up. It'll be a full house at Wembley yet again ahead of this qualifier between England and Malta. Kick-off coming up in around about 15 minutes.
September's great, the end of summer. October's great too, the changing of the seasons. But November is just a bit November-y, isn't it? But not for jump racing fans, because the road to Cheltenham starts at Cheltenham, with the November meeting from the 17th to the 19th, and Paddy Power will help jumpstart your season with 150 grand to give away. Tune in to Finders Keepers on the Paddy Power Racing YouTube channel this Saturday at 8:30am to find out more. The November meeting at Cheltenham with Paddy Power. Max price £5,000 per customer in cash. T's and C's apply. Please gamble safely. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Worn out. Busy day. Don't let tiredness get in the way when you just can't get going. Barocca can help you face the lag. Formulated with 11 vitamins and minerals, including vitamins B6 and 12 to help support energy release and reduce tiredness and fatigue. Barocca, face the lag. Barocca contains vitamin C, B vitamins 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12 and magnesium and zinc.
We can't tell you for sure how your football team will do this weekend. Or whether your relationship will end well.
I heard you say that.
No, I didn't say that.
You did. You're lying.
No, I'm not.
Or even if you should eat that 4-day-old sushi. Although you probably shouldn't. But with CreditWise, we can predict how your credit score could be affected by financial decisions before you make them. Search Capital One CreditWise to see your score today. CreditWise from Capital One. That's one good thing.
Girls!
Sean!
Willow!
It's
Bedtime!
One more ring! I'm almost done! Okay, kiddos.
That's enough. Time's up.
To gap.
Your Wi-Fi is going off.
Going off.
EE Wi-Fi Controls lets you pause the Wi-Fi on your kids' devices, helping them to switch off and drift off. Search EE Home.
Eligibility criteria apply. New EE broadband customers.
Did you know? Making your heating system more efficient helps save energy and money off your bills. Here's how in 3 simple steps. 1. Reduce your boiler flow temperature to 60 degrees, saving you up to £60 per year. 2. Bleed your radiators. 3. Get your boiler serviced to save on future repairs. There you go. It all adds up. For more energy-saving advice, visit gov.uk/save energy.
When it comes to that reliable football shirt, new Persil Ultimate Active Clean delivers outstanding stain removal plus 14 days of freshness. It's also suitable for quick and cold washes, helping you save energy. So buy Persil Ultimate Active Clean in store now. Quick and cold wash at 20 degrees C, 60-minute cycle.
You can't beat the feeling of the team you've backed scoring a last-minute winner, or the ball landing on your lucky number 7 on the roulette wheel. But at LiveScore Bet, we know that when it comes to betting, nothing is a dead cert. That's why we want you to get the most out of betting with us responsibly. We've got a range of tools to help you stay the right side of the line, from deposit limits and spending controls to a cool-off period. Visit the safer gambling section on livescorebet.com or download the app for more details. Bet responsibly. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Feel the passions. Feel the pride.
Oh, what a finish!
The Euro 2024 qualifiers live on Talksport.
Talksport live at Wembley. Let me tell you what else is going on this weekend. Wales are away to Armenia tomorrow afternoon in Group D, and it's live on Talksport 2. And Wales' superb win over Croatia last month. They played superbly in that game, got a 2-1 win. It's given them a great chance of finishing top 2 in the group. If they win in Armenia and then beat Turkey Monday, then Wales will finish second ahead of Croatia. Actually, if they win tomorrow and Croatia lose in Latvia, unlikely, Wales will qualify. Not many would have thought they'd qualify after their 4-2 defeat to Armenia in Cardiff in June. It was an absolutely shocking performance. They lost to Turkey in June as well. Turn those results around and Wales could be ready to qualify with England and Scotland for the Euros in Germany next summer. Let's take another look at the England team. Marcus Rashford is somebody, Stuart Pearce, that I want to talk to you about. And I don't think England fans are totally convinced. This season, Man United fans aren't convinced. Last season, he was utterly brilliant for Manchester United. Is it right to call him a streaky player, Marcus Rashford, and tonight is a big chance for him?
He's one of these individuals that has got, in my opinion, so much more to come, but he does sort of deliver in spurts, if you like. You know, he's either brilliant or you're disappointed with him. There's never sort of a 7 out of 10 with Rashford, and some of that is the fact that we expect so much from him because he's got the talent to actually deliver consistently for his team and his country.
Yeah, he has. I do wonder how those attacking players might really love to have Trent Alexander-Arnold just behind them as well. Phil Foden's, I think, has only started 7 of the last 20 England internationals. Not enough for a player with his talent. He has to be forcing himself into that.
Well, I think we say that all the time about certain players. Why isn't it? And Foden probably epitomises that individual that you turn around and say, well, I'm surprised he hasn't played that many games. But I always think it's down to the player to play consistently, to force the hand of the manager to get in the team. I really do. He's certainly another one that's got a wealth of talent. There's no doubt about that. You know, and people say, let's build a team around him. But the onus is with the player, as always.
Can't disagree with that. As the light show starts here at Wembley Stadium, we're just under 10 minutes away from kick-off, and while this light show at Wembley, the floodlights have gone out, mobile phone lights are on throughout the stadium, and on the big screens either end behind the goals, there's a video playing in tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton. This, of course, the first England game here at Wembley since Sir Bobby Charlton passed away. And of course Wembley, the old Wembley, is where with England he and the rest of that side in '66 made proper England football history. And actually it was the semi-final in this stadium against Portugal in which Charlton scored both goals. Gordon Banks, the keeper, said it was his number one classic match of his 73 for England. The match belonged more to Bobby Charlton, he said, than to anybody. He gave the greatest performance of his life, moving in midfield with the grace of a ballet dancer and the power of a panther. Sir Bobby Charlton would have walked into any Brazil side, said Pelé. And Sir Geoff Hurst, hat-trick hero in the final in '66, said his standards high, his values deep, a man full of gentle dignity. And he'll never be forgotten, Sir Bobby Charlton. And George Best said Bobby is one of football's free-flowing artists. He glides along with the ball. His ferocity is in his shot. His body swerve is baffling. A magnificent footballer. And proper tribute paid here at Wembley. The corner flags are black in honour of Sir Bobby Charlton here this evening ahead of this qualifier. The teams are in the tunnel, and while Sir Bobby Charlton has been remembered out on the pitch, his record, goal-scoring record, has been broken, of course, by Wayne Rooney and by the man who'll be leading England out very shortly in Harry Kane. Quick word, Stuart Pearce, on Harry Kane. This is the kind of game, I think some people have said, well, just leave Harry Kane out, we could beat him without Harry Kane. He'll want to be still. They've been desperate to start in this one to bag more goals.
All goal scorers are desperate to play. Listen, he always strikes me, Harry, as an individual that wants to keep ticking over the caps and keep ticking over the goals, and so he should. Every England player should want to do that. It hurt me to be left out on occasion. I hated it, and Harry is certainly up there with that mentality.
Yeah, he missed the Australia game, definitely wanted to play in this one. It's a qualifier, these competitive goals, and Harry Kane just wants those numbers next to his name. Already holds the record. He wants to make that record unbreakable as he leads England out behind the match officials. The ball is picked up from the plinth as England in their blue tracksuit tops, blue shorts and white socks come out, mascots in hand, and Malta alongside them. Fresh memories for them of that 4-0 defeat in Malta. We were there in June, live on Talksport, as the two teams make their way around the flags from each country and stand behind a banner saying peace, which is laid out on the pitch, and in front of a temporary stand which says European qualifiers. The match officials stand tall and the players stand behind the mascots, and the national anthems will be sung very, very shortly. The big three lions crest is covering the centre circle behind those players. It's a proper scene for all these thousands of fans that are in here at Wembley Stadium as we await the national anthems. National anthem sung proudly, and the Malta fans away in the corner to our right waving their flags, and now the George Cross banners are held behind each goal here at Wembley Stadium, and we'll sing God Save the King. Bobby, in memory of the great man. 16 years ago this week, I was in this very spot, barely able to speak, barely able to comprehend what I'd just witnessed. England had been atrocious in defeat here to Croatia, and as a result failed to qualify for the European Championships. Well, ahead of this one tonight, England have qualified already with 2 games to spare, so sit back and enjoy England against Malta, live on Talksport with former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. Well, this is a night that brings us back to where it all began. The first of Gareth Southgate's 90 matches in charge came at home to Malta 7 years ago, and a side still scarred by their Euro 2016 campaign ground out a workmanlike victory. The intervening seasons have brought almost a full range of emotions, a couple of lows, a flirtation with the highest of highs, the qualification for every tournament, and at least the quarter-final every time. And the chances of emulating that at the very least can be strengthened here tonight against a side ranked outside the top 150 in the world. Win here, and England might be confirmed as one of the 6 top seeds in the draw for the Euros before they kick a ball in Skopje, live on Talksport on Monday. And that would mean they'd avoid Portugal, Germany, and in all likelihood France and Spain until the knockout stages. It really is some incentive. Well, Stuart Pearce is alongside me. Stuart, this is the England side tonight. Pickford in goal, Trippier, Maguire, Gurhey and Tomori, Alexander-Arnold, Gallagher and Henderson, Foden, Kane and Rashford.
Yeah, I think the exciting thing for me tonight is seeing Trent Alexander at the heart of the midfield again, supplying passes to the ones in front of him. Tomori's going to be eye-catching, Jim, as well in the left-back slot. See how he does in an unfamiliar position for himself. And always Foden. As I say, people always say, Aid says to me, he needs to play more games. These are the games he's got to have the impact to make sure he's available for the next game and the next game on his performances.
The bench for England: Walker, Lewis, Konsa, Rice, Phillips and Palmer, Saka, Grealish, Bowen and Watkins, Ramsdale and Johnston. Well, before the game starts, there will be a tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton, formerly England's record appearance maker and record goal scorer, but a player whose status transcended mere statistics and whose role in England's World Cup triumph cannot be overstated. Wembley will stand now to acknowledge one of the greatest internationals that they have ever had. Mosaic, which spelt Sir Bobby, was made by the supporters over on the far side. So Jeff Hurst came onto the field and laid a wreath and also a number 9 shirt in the England red of their finest hour. And so Jeff just making his way off the field now. This is the Maltese side. Bonello in goal. Joseph Mbong, Steve Borge, Pepe, Jean Borge and Kamanzuli, Guillaumier, Toma and Yankum, Mbong and Reed up front. The referee tonight, Luis Godinho from Portugal, whose last game was also in England at Villa Park in the Europa Conference League last week. Well, England's last match at Wembley in 2023. Their record this year has been unblemished. Qualification assured, top spot assured. Beat Malta, and their ranking as the top seed will be all but guaranteed as well. But several interesting team selections for England tonight, not least the man in possession now, Fikayo Tomori, playing at left back. And taking a throw which Gallagher was unable to pick up, and Malta with an opportunity inside the opening 30 seconds. And it was a snapshot with the left boot of Mbong. He sent it not too far wide. A really good strike. Toma it was, in fact, making his way forward, all after a mistake from Gallagher in the midfield. And it could and probably should have been 1-0 to Malta inside the opening 30 seconds.
Well, I've got to say, Gallagher there just got caught on the ball. Sometimes you go into these games, and I speak through experience against San Marino, you're not switched on as quickly as you potentially should be and get caught out. Gallagher was certainly in that situation at the moment, lost the ball, and it was an incredible strike, the pace on it, and we're fortunate it was just outside the post.
Yeah, he's been in good form, Teddy Toma, probably the highest profile of the Maltese players, the shaven-headed midfielder who scored 4 goals in his last 8 games in League 1 for Gram. Got a lot of experience playing in the Belgian top flight as well. A left-footed strike that had Pickford beaten but went just wide. So England with an early let-off. Here's Jordan Pickford in possession inside his own 6-yard box. He's playing out from the back into the feet of Trent Alexander-Arnold. And down towards Mark Gurhey, who's playing on the right of the two centre-halves today, with Maguire to his left-hand side. They could just as easily play the other way round. Trippier brings it forward, finds Foden, and now Alexander-Arnold will be able to pick it up. Henderson, the deepest lying of England's 3 central midfielders, goes out towards Tomori in his unaccustomed role, starting a match at left back for the first time in his career. Last time he played at left back was for 15 minutes for Hull at Fulham back in September 2017. The only other occasions he's ever played in that role as a substitute for Brighton, even earlier than that. Here's Trippier. Goes back towards halfway for Guehi, but they will get Trippier to push forward into the midfield. As we were talking about in the build-up to the game, Tomori, although he's playing at left-back, ordinarily when England are in possession, he's playing on the left of three centre-halves, really.
Yeah, as you spoke of earlier before the game, Jim, they'll build in a three, and that three won't include Trippier. He'll push on, get more advanced, as he does for Newcastle. I mean, he's so aggressive in his start position for Newcastle, and so good on receiving the ball and putting the ball in the box. He certainly can offer stuff going forward a little bit more.
That's form that has brought him 7 assists over the course of the season for Newcastle already. You're with Talksport. We're a couple of minutes in, 3 minutes in. It's England 0, Malta 0. England in their white shirts, dark blue shorts. They're kicking from left to right, defending what was the old tunnel end here at Wembley in the old stadium. Malta in their red shirts, their traditional red with white shorts. And they're in possession in England territory. England yet to get going, really. It's held for down the right-hand touchline, an opportunity potentially for Mbong to be able to deliver. His cross is blocked and it goes out of play. Well defended by Tomori for a throw that will be taken down by the corner flag by Joseph Mbong, the older of the two Mbong brothers. He's playing at right wing-back tonight with his younger brother Paul playing through the middle as a striker, the number 9.
He's looked quite neat, Paul, actually, even in these early stages. His footwork's very good.
Joseph hanging a high ball inside the penalty area. Trippier's headed that down. Foden just did well to react to a slightly sharp and lively bounce and flick the ball to his right-hand side. England will be able to bring it forward. Toma has just stood on the top of the foot of Alexander-Arnold, and the free kick is given England's way, which Trippier will take with 4 minutes in here on Talksport, and it's still 0-0. But Henderson will play the ball forward for England. Back it goes again for Tomori. Maguire indicates that it should go further back to Jordan Pickford. We'll be hoping for a 28th clean sheet for his country tonight. Malta have only scored 2 goals so far in this qualification campaign. One of those coming last time out, the 3-1 defeat at home to Ukraine, but they've lost all 7 games that they've played. In fact, they lost their last 16 European Championship qualifiers. Could have been ahead inside this one very early on. Henderson's got it. Back for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he will curve the ball with the outside of the right boot out towards Tomori. Tomori playing it forward towards Marcus Rashford. And Rashford just dropping deep, finding Kane, who similarly will drop deep. In wonderful goal-scoring form, Kane is on 14 in his last 7 games for club and country. Ball swung forward, headed away by Kamanzuli on the left of the back 5 for Malta, and then Toma will work it back to his goalkeeper, Henry Bonello. And Bonello will drive it out towards the right flank where there's space for Joseph Mbong. And Malta look very neat and tidy, Stuart Pearce, in the early stages of this game.
They do. They're comfortable on the ball. They knock it around. Comfortable with each other's play in many ways. And look to go through the thirds, passing it through the thirds. If it's on, to slide it down the touchline. They've certainly done that early on. I think it's important for England when Trent gets on the ball. He's almost like a quarterback the way he plays. Someone's got to run him behind, and I see Harry Kane not really wanting to run him behind, and probably Foden as well. So that means Rashford's got to be that one.
Paul Mbong again causing problems in the midfield, although Jordan Henderson has done well to be able to win it back. Now Trent Alexander-Arnold will bring it forward. A clever little drop of the shoulder, which was too good for Reed, and Reed has fouled him. Reed is making his international debut today at the age of 29. Plays his club football in Malta for Floriana. 5 goals in 7 games so far this season in the league. But the one man actually that they've left out of the squad today, he's the top scorer in the Maltese league this season, Luke Montebello. He's travelled, but he isn't in the squad. He's the 24th member of the matchday squad, and as a consequence, he's the one that hasn't been named on the bench. As Maguire will bring the ball forward towards halfway here for England. It's 0-0 on Talksport, still in the very early stages with 7 minutes gone. Trippier laying it back again. Going to be worked by Guehi through the midfield out towards Tomori. Gallagher drops deep, little 1-2 between him and Henderson. Gallagher now bringing it inside the centre circle, and the ball just arcs across the halfway line for Mark Guehi to bring it forward. And then Foden has stabbed it into the inside right channel, will make his way forward, and it's driven in and in for an own goal. inside the opening 10 minutes, just as they were into Harley. Phil Foden bringing it forward, and he took a touch off Pepe and probably the frame of the goal and dribbles over the line. And Phil Foden takes the acclaim, and England lead inside 8 minutes. An inauspicious start, but they got the breakthrough.
Well, they certainly did. England got 2 dollops of good fortune there. Gahey's ball into Foden was smashed at him so hard it was almost helpful to him that it helped him go beyond the defender. And when Foden's pulled it back, it's just cannoned off the shins and has gone past the goalkeeper. I mean, it's wrong-footed, the goalkeeper. He's hit his arm, hit his shoulder, underside the bar and in, but England won't worry about that.
Well, the last time the two sides met, England took the lead with an 8th minute own goal. And exactly the same thing has happened tonight. Foden trying to pull it back, but did so with extreme pace. It hit Pepe, then deflected off the bar and into the net. And England lead by a goal to nil on a night where, if they win, they will all but be guaranteed a place as one of the top seeds for Euro 2024. They're just temporarily down to 10 men, and Trent Alexander-Arnold undergoing some running repairs. Maybe just having a look at that right boot, which was trodden on by Teddy Toma a couple of minutes ago. But that have settled England's nerves, because, as we mentioned, they certainly hadn't really got going in the opening 7 minutes of the first attack of the night and seen them score.
Yeah, I mean, Malta are playing that sort of defensive wedge, if you like, 5-3-2, so the space is on the outside of that, so you've got to go outside. We just got caught out trying to go through the middle. Trent Alexander was put on his backside. Gallagher lost the ball early on, trying to go through a very congested central area.
Here's Maguire for England, who lead courtesy of that own goal from Pepe. Ball will work back inside their own half. A chance just to build from deep again. England with a really good record scoring goals in the first half of games. They've scored in the first half of the last 8 competitive games now. The Maltese will bring it forward. It's the lively Mbong that tries his luck. He's claiming that Pickford has helped that on his way over the bar. A rising drive, the goalkeeper didn't get a touch according to the officials. And that's another let-off. So 2 sights of goal for Malta inside the opening 10 minutes. That one coming as Maguire tried to play out from the back, and the midfield didn't read it.
Well, once again, Maguire's gone to play through the middle. We just mentioned it literally a couple of seconds before. It's congested in the middle because of the Malta formation. You have to come and go wide and go round it to start with to move the team across the pitch. The Maltese press across the pitch, and then you can go inside.
Now they get another free kick, England, as Alexander-Arnold is fouled.
But Mbong's looked quite lively in these early stages. He looks as though if you give him too much space and time, he might test the goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, he didn't play when the two sides last met back in June, live on Talksport in Takali, just west of Valletta in Malta, on a glorious day. Joseph Mbong, his big brother, did play that day on the right of the back five, the role that he's in again today. Paul didn't. He's not had a great start of the Maltese season in terms of goals, but he's looked really lively inside the opening 10 minutes tonight, as Stuart's been saying. Is Harry Maguire's in possession now for England, who lead 1-0 with 11 on the clock. And the ball's played out towards Tomori. Tomori will control it and flick it through the midfield for Rashford, but lost out to Steve Borge, pushing forward from the defensive line. The ball goes out, and it's a throw that will be taken by England on their left. Malta ranked 171st in the world in the FIFA list, a little bit higher in the ELO ratings. Well, they're still outside the top 150 in that, and a little bit lower now than they were when the two sides last met some 5 months ago. England dominating possession, not doing an awful lot with it in the early stages, but with the lead courtesy of that own goal. Gallagher is in possession for England. Only his second competitive start for his country tonight. Maguire down towards the right-hand side. Trippier had to come to meet it and controlled it neatly on the half volley. Plays it back for Gurhey. Alexander-Arnold turns it away from Toma in the midfield. Henderson fashions a ball into the feet of Foden. He plays the way that he's facing back for Trippier, who chips it over the top. Good movement coming ahead of him, but ball's drifted out of play, and he goes over the line. And out for a throw, and Pepe, the scorer of the own goal, almost got a face full of hoardings and had to vault them just to make sure that he didn't get hurt. England taking the throw quickly, losing possession again. Kamenzuli working it for Pickford, coming right to the edge of his penalty area to make sure that he's there ahead of Reed. And Maguire just for a moment stayed down, but picks himself up and gets back on his feet. But England have shown a susceptibility to quick counter-attacks in the opening 12 minutes here, Stu.
They certainly have, and you've got to give Malta credit, because when they have turned the ball over, they look very comfortable on the ball. They go through the thirds very quickly, and they look to put the ball in behind you, but not just hit and hope passes. Good passes that have given their strikers something to chase and something to get onto.
3 other games taking place right now, including Italy against North Macedonia, which is the other game in this group, Group C. Poland taking on the Czech Republic. The Czechs qualify if they win that game. Now, Albania have already qualified today from that group. They drew 1-1 in Moldova earlier. And Denmark are taking on Slovenia in Copenhagen. That's still 0-0 as well. The winners of that will qualify. Now, the other results in that group, Finland beating Northern Ireland 4-0 earlier. They're going to be in the playoffs anyway, but can't finish in the top 2. Kazakhstan, unsurprisingly, beat San Marino 3-1. San Marino's 9th defeat in a row in this qualification campaign. England have got the ball with Foden. Back he goes for Henderson. Kane making his way forward on a night that he hopes for his 62nd goal, and possibly a few more than that for his country. Work through the midfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold doing well to link up. Henderson just trying to help it on towards Trippier to his right-hand side. Ended up sliding on his knees. He's fine. The play is going to be able to continue ably enough. And the ball goes back towards Maguire, and Maguire will play it forward, and England will be able to build from the back again. Now England's possession is in better areas than it was in the early stages, but still a slightly flat, unconvincing performance through the opening 14 minutes, notwithstanding the fact that Phil Foden's driven cross has handed in off Pepe, and the crossbar to give England a 1-0 lead here at Wembley tonight. Maguire in possession again, working forward towards Henderson, and Henderson goes back for Fikayo Tomori. Henderson able to turn it forward. Rashford getting it, clipping it into space. Took a deflection, knocked away by the advancing Pepe. Gallagher will try and take it on, and goes to ground. No foul on him by Joseph Mbong. Back he goes for Steve Borge. Back to Joseph Mbong again, and the fullback plays it through the midfield where Alexander-Arnold was able to cut it out for a moment. And the ball then ricochets forward off Rashford and goes out of play for a goal kick. Well, we're 15 minutes in, Stuart. Apart from the goal, not an awful lot to write home about from an England perspective. What's Gareth thinking at the moment, Jimmy?
Well, I'm looking from a tactical point of view here, and we're probably 15 yards inside England's half and got a good look across the line where England are trying to build up from. What I would say is the 2 outside central defenders in the 3 that are looking to build, I think they need to get more advanced up the pitch, because you're looking to switch the play, move it from one side to the other. But if you've not gone behind the opposition strikers, you're not going to commit them, and they'll slide across and go and front you up. And at this moment, we're getting the ball switched from one side to the other, but both Gahey and more so Tomori potentially are receiving it and then passing backwards.
Here's Joseph Mbong driving forward through the midfield for Malta. Now Teddy Toma put under pressure and shoved to the floor there by Gallagher. He stayed down as well, Toma. The referees played a good advantage. The Portuguese official Luis Godinho. Now out towards Joseph Mbong again, coming in off the right flank, looking for Reed. Well read by the England back line, who can get it away. Henderson wanted a quick return ball from Gallagher to be able to get turned in the midfield and run at Malta, but Gallagher played it back instead of the back line. Now Alexander-Arnold, what a pass that is, perfectly weighted for Kane's run. Kane controlling it, down on the dead ball line. Kane pulls it back. Alexander-Arnold coming onto it, couldn't get it inside the penalty area. Pepe should be able to get it away. He's put under pressure from Foden, and Mbong will be able to clear. But what a pass from Alexander-Arnold, and that is what this role will bring out of him.
Well, put it this way, if it doesn't go into Trent Alexander in these deep areas, he's the only one in probably the back 5, if you like, that will look to play a pass of that ilk. So he needs to free himself up as often as he can, and the players in front of him, as I mentioned right at the start, they've got to look to run in behind, and Harry Kane made a beautiful run then, and the pass was sumptuous.
Just picked up about 10 yards inside his own half, and he clipped it with minimal backlift. aerially down the inside right channel. Kane instinctively knowing that where it was going to go, chasing after it, but the move eventually broke down. England still without a shot on target in this game, albeit that they lead courtesy of the own goal. Alexander-Arnold, Foden will try to do something about that. Look for the reverse ball in towards Kane. Cannon back off a Maltese defender, back for Foden again. Low ball driven in, goalkeeper spilt it, but only at the feet of one of his fellow defenders, and he was able to come out and gather at the second attempt. Better from England, but still no shot on target. It's 1-0.
Yeah, much better. And once again, it's that ball from Trent Alexander. He's the one who's looking to play a forceful pass, just helped it round the corner, and from that moment on, Malta had a big problem. Foden, great give and go. And that is the connection that we're going to need. Ball into Trent, and then from him, can he find Foden tucked in slightly?
So the other game in this group tonight, Italy taking on North Macedonia, and they lead courtesy of a goal from Matteo Darmian. If they win that, they'll only need a draw against Ukraine in Leverkusen on Monday. If they don't win tonight, they'll need to beat Ukraine in that game, which takes place on German soil. We'll keep you up to date with how things are going in that game on Monday. We'll be live in Skopje, talking you through England's final game of this qualification campaign. North Macedonia against England, kicking off 7:45 in Skopje, with Adrian Stewart, Fake Brothers, our England correspondent, alongside me in Skopje on Monday night here on Talksport. Joseph Mbon has looked very neat and tidy on the right-hand side of the back line and has done well to bring the ball infield and find Kamanzuli. And now the left-back will venture into England territory. Malta trailing 1-0, but playing with a confidence that you wouldn't necessarily have foreseen. Toma playing it out towards Joseph, and Bong's run out on the right, and it drifts away and goes out for a throw. That'll be taken on the England left. We've played 19. It's England 1, Malta 0. There's room for improvement.
Well, I've got to say, Jim, their results belie their performance, Malta. I think they played very well, and they've been very, very unfortunate to go a goal down. You know, two sort of poor bounces of the ball, if you like, has contrived to make them 1-0 down. Apart from that, there's been very, very little in it between the sides. One technically better, obviously, but Malta certainly have shown an adaptation to be comfortable on possession of the ball.
They are a side that have won 7 out of their 225 qualifiers, the 4 major tournaments. A better record, as you would expect, in the Nations League than that, where they're playing up against teams of a similar ilk. But still only won a quarter of their matches in that competition in history. Henderson makes his way down the England right. Foden plays a return ball to him. Henderson was blocked off and wins the free kick from Jean Borges. And it's a free kick that has been taken quickly by Trippier. Just bent down, put his right palm on the top of the ball. Kicked it immediately, found Foden. Now it goes back towards Alexander-Arnold in the midfield for England again. Just a little bit flat here at Wembley's magnificent crowd. 86,000 here at the home of football tonight. For a game against the side ranked 171st in the world. There's a magnificent effort from England supporters, but just a little bit flat at the moment as England struggle to get up through the gears. They're warming to their task, though. Here's Henderson, right-footed ball over the top. Trippier making a good run, will chase after it. He's got work to do to keep it in. It was a battle that he won, but in hooking it back inside the penalty area, he couldn't find a teammate. It was all he could do to keep it in. And Toma ends up with the ball at his feet on the left-hand touchline for Malta, and it's slammed forward towards halfway. Alexander-Arnold's header goes back towards the halfway line, which I don't think was his intention. Gurhi's able to deal with that. Then Trippier can't find Foden in the midfield. A little backheel flick will end up at the feet of Toma again. And the Maltese midfielder goes back for Jean Borges. Jean Borges into the feet of Pepe, and then straight back again. And now Toma will get it forward towards halfway. But it's a much better Malta performance than what we've seen in the opening quarter of this game than we witnessed first hand out on Maltese soil back in the summer, when England found themselves 3 up inside the opening half hour or so that day. Worked forward again by Steve Borges. Goulamier coming back infield. sticking his foot on the ball, trying to send it towards Kamar Reed. And then Goulamia trying his luck, but only after a foul has been committed on the edge of the D. It's an England free kick, and a yellow card is shown to one of the Maltese players. Fikayo Tomori is the England player who was down. Goulamia just rolling the ball into feet, Tomori coming to meet it, and it was just a coming together. Paul and Bong, the player that has fouled him, as he stretched, went a little bit late to get the ball and just caught Tomori on the instep of his right boot. He's okay, he's going to be able to continue, but Mbong has picked up the first yellow card of the night.
Yeah, I'm just sat here thinking to myself, Jim, I'm so pleased that we've got this goal, albeit a very fortuitous one, but because as things stand at the moment, the longer the game would have gone on at 0-0, the more nervous I think the crowd would have got.
Marguerite bringing the ball forward towards halfway. Now Foden has done really well, spins away from Kamanzuli, drives forward towards the edge of the area. Trippier, Kane waiting in the middle. Trippier wins the corner with a driven ball in that hit Jean Borge.
Great play there. This is probably what it takes, somebody to get turned and go past the press, and all of a sudden it's like a domino effect. Someone's got to come out of the shape that they're in to go and deal with it, and that's when Malta have a problem. It was Foden once again on that occasion doing exactly that.
So 24 minutes in, England have their first corner. They haven't had a single shot on or off target as yet. The goal coming from an own goal. Maguire and Kane, two Harrys, stand right next to each other on the edge of the penalty area. In fact, Maguire's got his arms around Kane at the moment. There are two Maltese defenders attempting to block the pair of runs towards the far post. Yankam is one of them, just being spoken to here by the referee. England have also got Gallagher waiting on the edge of the 6-yard box. Henderson and Gurhey trying to get in there as well. They're the 5 England players inside the penalty area as Trippier prepares to swing this corner in. Left arm above his head. It is an away swinger. Maguire comes to meet it, heads it down. Slight miscue clearance, slices away up the left boot of one of the defenders. Picked up though by Toma for Malta. And he will get his left foot underneath the ball and send a swinging pass out towards the right-hand side of their midfield. Now Joseph and Bong. Yankam's played it forward to him. And Bong Senior working it through the midfield to Goulamia. So much of their attacking play goes through Toma. He's got it again. Goulamia back out towards Joseph and Bong. Controlling the ball. Trying to take on the Fikayo Tomori. Wearing 3 for England tonight. And Tomori on the slide has then caught Yankam. And he might pick up a yellow card for the challenge. He's given a free kick away, which is about 3 yards to the right-hand side of the penalty area and 15 yards from the dead ball line. So a good position for Malta to swing one in here for their aerial targets.
Yeah, Tomori looks as though he's hurt himself in that challenge and picked up a yellow card for his troubles as well. The one thing Malta do extremely well, they defend in a shape, that is one thing. But when you turn the ball over, they spread really quickly, and they've switched the ball brilliantly up till now in the game, and that's what forced this inherent tackle here that we're just seeing once again, and he's ended up going in. He got there a little bit late, and well, he's hurt himself, hurting somebody.
Yeah, on the stretch, having got the ball away from Joseph and Bong, but Yankam was there first. Tomori catching him, both players down for a moment. Tomori, the player that was injured more than his opponent, and he's picked up a yellow card. Only one England player in the starting lineup, incidentally, is on a yellow and would miss the final qualifier if they were booked tonight. That's Harry Maguire. Declan Rice is in the same boat. He's on the bench. Calvin Phillips too under that. So this is a really good chance. A Maltese set piece, the right-hand side of the penalty area. 26 gone. England unconvincing in a 1-0 lead. Toma firing it in. Good header from Kane. Steers it away. Down towards the corner flags. Always the free man whose brief is just to attack the ball when it comes inside the penalty area. Not worry about marking anybody. Just go and attack the ball. And it was hitting with pace and swing, but Kane dealt with it. And it's out of play for a Maltese corner. Ball swung in, left-footed. Pickford comes out. A little bit of a ricochet inside the penalty area. Well steered by Steve Borge, back out towards Toma. And Pickford can deal with the Maltese cross. Now will come out and catch it and wait for his players to get upfield. 27 gone, England 1, Malta 0, and already I sense, if you listen to this performance, that your frustrations might be growing. Malta with decent defensive resistance and a bit about them going forward as well, although that's a terrible mistake by the goalkeeper, who then fouls Kane. There's going to be a penalty to England. Or is he going to book Kane for diving here? He is. Harry Kane is booked for diving. Well, the VAR clearly is going to have a look at the incident, but it all came after the goalkeeper tried to play out from the back. It was a loose touch from him. Kane tried to seize upon that, and he just got there ahead of the goalkeeper. He's flicked it past him, and the goalkeeper has come out. The initial look at a replay suggests that he's certainly made contact, but was Kane already on the way down at the time? That will be the crux of the issue for the VAR, Hugo Miguel.
You know what, if I was in the VAR box now, I would uphold that. I think Harry's been very cute as he is. He's moved the ball away from the goalkeeper, left his left leg there, and the goalkeeper's semi-obliged out of naivety, but I wouldn't overturn that. If you wanted to outlaw diving in the game, I wouldn't overturn it.
Well, I don't think it is going to be overturned. There's no evidence of a clear and obvious error, and play restarts with an indirect free kick inside their own penalty area for the Maltese. Gareth Southgate is currently in discussion with the fourth official, Ricardo Bacchino, just asking about the decision and what the train of thought was behind it. Well, on initial inspection, it looked as though it was a penalty. The referee just gave himself a moment of thinking time and then raised his arm in the air for an indirect free kick, produced the yellow card for Kane. So Harry Kane in the book, and the look of incredulity on his face when the yellow card was shown and the penalty wasn't given had to be seen to be believed. He clearly trailed the left leg to invite the contact, but there was a replay shown from an angle behind the goal that suggests that the goalkeeper made contact as Kane was beginning to go down. I think 9 times out of 10 Kane gets that penalty. There was probably enough of a grey area that the VAR didn't feel he could overturn it. I think had a penalty been given on field, I think the VAR would have upheld that decision as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, but the one thing is the referee didn't think it was a bona fide penalty, and I can understand why he's come to the decision he has.
So England still without a single shot. What can they muster from this? Kane receiving a lovely ball, swept out of the left-hand side of the penalty area. He almost fell over inside the box that time, got back to his feet quickly. Rashford, who's been quiet so far, tries to bring it forward. He can't find a way through, and Joseph Mbong is going to be able to get it away. And he goes out for a throw that will be taken by England over on the far touchline. Already a lot for you to get your teeth into this England performance, and you can have your say with Ian Danda and Carlton Cole taking your calls on the Sports Bar Weekender from 10 o'clock tonight here on Talksport, along with all the reaction from the tunnel with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers asking the questions of the headline makers and Gareth Southgate as well. And you can have your say on 03717 223344 from 10 o'clock tonight with Dance and Carl Cole on the Sports Bar Weekender. Phil Foden bringing it forward. One of the things that will be talked about is the fact that England played more than half an hour without having a shot. We've got it again. Right-footed ball swept in by Alexander-Arnold. Diving header clear. At this stage in the first game between these two, England were 3 up. They're 1 up tonight, courtesy of an own goal. Malta are able to bring the ball forward. Joseph Mbong flicking it to his left-hand side for Toba, who will venture forward over the halfway line. He's got it away from Alexander-Arnold. Now Paul Mbong towards the bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. Kamanzuli drives the cross in. Reed attacking it. It's half cleared. Comes out for Mbong Jr. And then Kane has done well to drop deep and pick it up in the midfield from Steve Borge. Kane trying to make his way forward. Couldn't get too far. And Jean Borge and Pepe, the other two centre-halves, came across and dealt with him. And then Gurhey heads a long Maltese punt upfield down towards Trippier. Why have England lacked creativity in this game? Where's it going wrong for them, Stu?
Well, they've not got Trent Alexander on the ball enough. The access between Trent and Foden are the two that are making something happen for England at the moment. And I would look at the fellow who's on the ball now, Marcus Rashford, and say he's been... I'm not sure I've seen a contribution on 32 minutes. And it's games like this where he's got to go and come off his perch, go and look for the ball, make something happen. You can't just stand on the wing and say, well, if it comes to me, fine. If it doesn't, then, well, it's not my fault, almost, you know. And I don't want to be too critical in regard to that statement, but as a player wearing a white shirt, and I've been out there myself, sometimes you've got to go and make something happen for yourself, and he's got to do that tonight.
I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, but you'll phrase it better than me. I've sat next to you on occasion before where you've talked about him not being able to grab a game by the scruff of the neck and impose his identity and personality on it. Is this another illustration of that?
100%. As I say, the game is all about personality and what you do on the pitch. Foden's trying to make things happen. He's been busy, he's got on the ball, he's gone past people. He's tried to make things happen in a difficult game for the advanced wide players. But there's a marked difference between one player on one side and the other player on the other.
Well, England are in possession again. Trent Alexander-Arnold trying to bring it forward. Galamier dealt with that threat. Back it goes from Toman to Kamanzuli. Now Borge. He'll find his goalkeeper, Bonello. One of the big games tonight across the continent at the Parken in Copenhagen. The winner qualifies. Denmark 1, Slovenia 1. Denmark took the lead with Mæhle, but it was a lead that lasted 3.5 minutes before Janser equalised for Slovenia, and it's 1-1 in that game in Copenhagen, and the winner gets the job done tonight. Whoever loses that game will still expect to follow them through and qualify when they're next in action on Monday. England leading this 1-0 with the early Pepe own goal. Alexander-Arnold's got Trippier in space on the right. He drove it forward instead with pace. Kane couldn't control it with a centre-half either side of him. Had to try and bring the ball down and turn between the two centre-halves in the process. And the ball goes through for Bonello. And there are a few white and red paper aeroplanes just being thrown onto the playing surface now from the upper tiers and from the goal away to our right-hand side at the west stand. It just indicates really that it's not being an enthralling watch up to this point. England yet to get going. I'll have the rider that this is one of those matches where it really feels, to some extent, or must feel to the players as though it's a no-win situation, because if you are victorious, everybody expects you to be victorious, and if you don't play very well, it's the stick to beat you with is much larger than it ordinarily would be. But you think that the ease that England dispatched North Macedonia at Old Trafford back in the summer, they've not played like that tonight, although there's still time. 35 gone. England 1, Malta 0 is the score, and you're with Talksport. Ball out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right. Kieran Trippier is going to come forward to take it. Not blessed with a huge amount of movement. The players just at walking pace for a moment. Now Kane trots outside the penalty area. The ball is thrown back for Gurhi. And Gurhi will go back for Harry Maguire, and the first Mexican wave emanates around the lower tier here at Wembley. And when that happens in the first half, that often is an indicator of performance levels as well. Ball from Maguire. Henderson taking it on is Trent Alexander-Arnold, leaving it for Kane. Kane goes out to Rashford. Rashford, left-hand side of the box. Taking on Joseph Mbong. There's unorthodox defending from him in the end, having almost ended up crouching towards the ball. He's skewered it away with his right foot. And it goes out of play for a corner which will be taken on the England left-hand side by Foden. 1-0.
Yeah, Rashford on that occasion drove at two defenders. He thought there was a dual carriageway to run down, and all of a sudden it was a dead-end street. They made sure there was no room for him to get between the two of them. But good to see him turning and running at people.
So Gallagher stands on the edge of the six again. The other 4 England players to attack this in a group. Almost a queue by the penalty spots, and away swinging delivery. Well played by Bonello. And the veteran Maltese goalkeeper is winning his 53rd cap tonight. drives it quickly outfield. It's going to be chased after by Kamanzuli. A touch from Trippier was good enough to find Tomori. He smuggles it back for Jordan Pickford, and Pickford drives it forward left-footed. If you're just joining us, Malta had a really good chance inside 30 seconds with a shot from Toma that went just wide with Pickford beaten. England then scored with that early own goal as Kamanzuli will try and bring it forward now and wins a corner. Just a little nudge into Gurhi, and Malta get a corner. Then immediately after England took the lead, Malta had another good chance, which was smashed over the bar by Mbong. But this has been one of England's most one-dimensional performances under Gareth Southgate so far. If you're going to have one, have it in a game like this, particularly in a game where you have the lead. But remember, England haven't had a single attempt on or off target so far with 37 minutes there. Toma's going to take this corner. 5 in red to attack it inside the penalty area. It's a left-footed away swinger intended for Pepe. Headed away. Gallagher will be able to help it further clear, and then is cynically brought down, and that should be a yellow card. There's no advantage. Gallagher did everything he could to get back to his feet and continue on the counter-attack, but stood no chance of being able to do that because of the heavy touch, which is invoked by the foul by Goulamie, and he's in the book.
The last phase of play by both teams emphasised exactly why England are struggling to break teams down. We cleared it from the corner, and Gallagher's chased it, and he's just gone away from his defender, and no England player went with him with pace. When Malta get it, they break and go with pace.
It's fallen back for Alexander-Arnold, and there is the first shot in the 39th minute. Some way over the bar, but England have had a side of goal.
Yeah. So Malta are difficult to break down when they're in phase and they've got players behind the ball. But when Malta turn that over from that situation, they go, they spread, and they go quickly. England there had a great opportunity, and they've had it on 3 or 4 occasions when Malta have lost the ball, but they've not gone and spread and gone quickly. You know, runners off the ball. We've not seen that at all.
Well, it's a night that Albania have already qualified for the Euros. The winners of Denmark against Slovenia will qualify as well. The Czechs could also go through tonight if they win in Poland, but they're a goal down in Warsaw. Jakub Petrovski is the man that has put the Poles ahead. They can't finish in the top 2 unless they win tonight, but they are 1-0 up. That is in Albania's group. And Albania all but certain of winning the group if that result stays that way. Poland 1, the Czechs 0. A later score in Warsaw. Elsewhere, earlier today, Northern Ireland beaten 4-0 in Finland. England leading this by a goal to nil. The other game in this group also of great significance. Italy leading North Macedonia, courtesy of Matteo Darmian. And England next in action away to North Macedonia. It's Monday night, build up at 7 ahead of a 7:45 kickoff live from Skopje on Talksport. Gallagher with a ball that just missed Henderson. That midfield 3 is not working as a cohesive unit at the moment. Kieran Trippier with a challenge, hands up to almost by way of apology to the referee. It was a poor challenge, play allowed to go on, no foul. It's back from Reed, left-footed ball in from Toma. Maguire stooping, just off balance but heads it away, and then Gurhi able to neatly turn away from Reed. Foden back for Gurhi. Alexander-Arnold down towards the England right-hand side for Foden, and then it'll be worked forward towards Kane. Good turn away by Kane, and now he spins one over the top for Rashford. Foden makes his way forward. Gallagher is in there as well. So too Kane. Rashford can't deliver a cross, but he does win a corner.
Yeah, brilliant play again. Once again, Trent Alexander's the man that makes things happen. He sees the forward pass, he looks for the forward pass, whips it into Kane. Kane turns, and then we're in behind them. And you expect Marcus to sort of run and take his wing back on, but good defensive work.
Rashford with only 1 goal in his last 16 games for club and country, which did come for England. He's got a good goal-scoring record for England in recent times. Scored in 4 of his last 5 international starts. Corner comes in from the left-hand side. Foden takes it, and as soon as he takes it, the referee puts whistle to mouth and says that there's a free kick against Mark Gurhi for a little bit of the foul in the jockeying for position that was going on in the 8 or 9 ball around the edge of the box. And as soon as Foden took it, the referee saw something he didn't like, and it's a free kick to Malta.
Well, I'm not sure Gurhi was responsible for that free kick there. I'm really not sure. Certainly the referee saw something.
We've got 2 games at this stage, with qualification already assured. I'm sure that Gareth Southgate will have spoken to many of the Premier League managers who will have asked questions about the workload that their stars are going to be subjected to over the 2 matches, and maybe a few promises will have been made. But England will look at this first half performance, and Gareth might be wanting to shuffle things around a little bit at half-time, or soon rather than later in the second half.
I certainly concur with that. I've got to say, we've been a bit lacklustre. I try to look at the positives on any England performance, but tonight I think we've been a little bit slow. Certainly on the turnover we've been slow.
Malta didn't have a single shot against England the last time the 2 sides met. They had 1 inside 30 seconds tonight. They've had 3 of the 4 shots that we've seen this evening. Henderson's got the ball in the midfield, though. Gallagher ahead of him. He was fouled, and the referee has allowed play to go on. Maguire to his right-hand side for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trippier in space on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Malta defending resolutely again. Ball goes back from Maguire. Maguire towards Trippier. Trippier to his left for Jordan Henderson. And then Trippier will chip one into space, but inside the centre circle for Marguerite to knock it forward. And then back from Gallagher. Another misplaced pass behind Tomori, but Tomori can rescue it. His unaccustomed role. Remember, he hasn't started the game at left back in his professional career before tonight. Foden back for Trippier. England leading 1-0. I just go back to a point that you made about 20 minutes ago, and it's more true with every passing exchange. What a good job England have the advantage courtesy of that own goal, because there would be a real nervousness around Wembley if this was still 0-0 at the moment.
Yeah, exactly that. You could see it after that 20-minute period. You thought there's only a very fortunate goal separating the 2 teams at the moment, and if anything you would say Malta are the team that look as though they can cut through the third slightly better than we. So unless something happens from sort of Trent Alexander or Foden, I'm not seeing anybody else creating anything in our ranks.
Federico Chiesa has doubled Italy's lead after a Jorginho missed penalty, but it's Italy 2, North Macedonia 0 in that game tonight. So it looks as though it's going to be job done as far as the Italians are concerned, and they will only need a point in the final game against Ukraine on Monday. We're going into 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half here on Talksport, where it's been a performance that has given you a little bit of ammunition for the sports bar, with Ian Dander and Carlton Cole later following us on Talksport tonight at 10. As Conor Gallagher brings the ball forward through the midfield for England, and then goes back behind square for Gurhi. Marguerite bringing it forward, deposits the ball at the feet of Henderson. Henderson to Trippier, Trippier back from Maguire. Fans beginning to file out from the posh seats, down beneath us away to our right-hand side, and walking past. Harry Maguire has it again. It's not been a performance or a display that has captivated England fans tonight by any stretch of the imagination. Toma with a challenge, gets it away from Gallagher. The referee put his whistle to his mouth and then thought better of it and allows play to continue. Now the ball is worked down towards Kamanzuli, the left back working it forward over the halfway line, and his is the last touch of the first half. A pretty nondescript first half as far as England are concerned. Now there is context, of course, and mitigating circumstances. England have got the job done. The stakes not high tonight, but it has not been a good performance. One of England's worst, you'd have to say, in the 6 years that Gareth Southgate has had in charge. But they lead, courtesy of an early own goal on a night where they still haven't had a shot on target against a side ranked 171st in the world. It's England 1, Malta 0.
Well, that was rubbish, and the noise from the fans non-existent at half-time. I think England were lucky not to be booed off they were that bad. They're probably not being booed off because somehow they're 1-0 up, despite, as Jim says, not having an effort on target. I doubt the likes of Jude Bellingham and Bukayo Saka are going to be worrying about getting their starting places back based on that first 45. It's been awful from England, but let's give it some context. I'd rather be watching this than being in Italy's position, where even a win tonight and they're 2 up won't mean qualification. They've got to get it all done in the final game in Germany against Ukraine on Monday. What makes it worse is that Gareth had declared, Stuart Pearce, this week he wanted to entertain the 86,000 fans, but England are not entertaining anybody here. I want to know why not, because the shackles should be off. They've qualified, they've won the group, everything's positive from an England point of view. So how are they looking so lifeless out there?
I think we're taking too long in the build-up to get the ball to the players that can actually make a difference, and I'm talking about Trent and Foden. They're the two, for me, that look as though they're trying to make something happen with the performance. Trent's the one out the midfield three that is going to play a killer pass, one through the lines. Foden's going to be the one that's going to get on the ball from there and supply Kane. So we're not doing that well. Malta have shown us what it's like. You defend collectively, and they're doing pretty well, Malta, by the way. Let's not knock this. They're defending in a really good shape, but when they do get the ball or the goalie catches it from a corner, they split and go forward very, very quickly. We're not doing that. I saw that. We had a corner here against us. Ball went in the box. Maguire headed it. Gallagher chased it. And not one of the other 9 outfield players went with him and thought, you know what, if he gets that toe past there, I'm up there supporting him. And that should be for the job of the likes of Rashford to go. That is his forte, his blistering pace. And too many of us, I think, are just letting it go, and we're in a easy-ozy, keep it, past it mode. And we're not good at that. And we struggled with... We're at our best when we're a counter-attack team. Tonight's game isn't about counter-attack, it's about breaking down.
And you're talking about players who, in an England starting 11, are trying to put their hands up and say, let me start at the Euros. Let me make a big impression in the starting 11 for England at the Euros. Trent in midfield. Foden in one of those attacking wide positions. Rashford in another one of those attacking wide positions. These are 3 players who haven't got definite starting places in Southgate's best 11, so they needed to be brilliant tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, every time you take the shirt, you're playing for your place in the next game. End of. For me, I'd probably look, I think I'd be tempted to maybe Ollie Watkins at some stage to stretch things a little bit more and to want to run in behind. Maybe even look to move Foden around out of the position, even put Bowen on, because you know Bowen can get the ball, run with it and run without it, and that may be just what this game needs at this moment in time, potentially.
Does it mean, I mean, I'm looking at Bukayo Saka, he's on the bench, and remember North Macedonia, it was 0-0 for half an hour, up until about 39 minutes, it was only 1-0, and then England went to town on them. But Bukayo Saka was the main man, he got the hat-trick that game for England. So I'm just wondering if Bukayo Saka, listen, if we're desperate to make sure we win this game, you bring him on, or do you keep him rested? What it proves is he has got to start at the Euros. He's been so brilliant for England.
Listen, he's one of the first picks for England, and has been for the last couple of years, Dave. There's no doubt about that, and he probably needs to be mentioned in that statement. But I think if I'm Gareth now, I'm walking back down that tunnel saying to Steve Holland, I'm not sure about the fans, but I'm not sure I can watch this again for the next 45 minutes. If it's boring us and it's boring the fans, make no mistake, the fella who's picked the team, it's boring him as well.
Your conversation about Kane's dive, he got a yellow card for diving, totally understood where you were coming from, but isn't this an area where VAR should be looking to get the right decision rather than just either backing up whatever the referee...
Yeah, but what is the right decision there?
You tell me, what is it? Does he stick his left foot into the body of the keeper to make contact?
Did. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's cute. He's a centre forward, he's cute. But if you want to outlaw diving, and we talk around the subject a lot, if you want to outlaw diving, he's initiated contact with the goalie. The goalie's not helped himself, he's gone down. But if we're really going to say, look, unless you really get hit and taken off your feet, we're not going to give a penalty. That was a point in case.
Okay, I understand that.
And I would polarise opinion on that statement.
I understand that totally, and it will. But why on earth would he go down? I mean, he's still got the ball at his feet. He hasn't knocked it out of play.
He's going wide, and he's the penalty taker. That's why.
That's not for the team, though, is it? That's for him.
if it ends up in the back of the net, he'll say, I've done the right thing. I don't think we get a goal from there if he stays on his feet and goes wide. It's a gamble if we get a goal from there. Put it this way, we hadn't had a shot on target for 45 minutes, so for us to get a goal from that situation, you can't have it both ways, Aid.
No shot on target for England. Our goal was scored by a Malta player. Kane gets booked for diving. It's not been a brilliant, memorable first half from England, but they do lead by a 1-0. Now, Armenia against Wales live on Talksport tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. It's a massive game for Rob Page's side, who are currently second in Group D. They're level on points with Croatia, but ahead of them due to a better head-to-head record. Captain Aaron Ramsey is with the squad despite having not played for his club Cardiff since September, but Boss Page has explained why.
I have him as a presence around that changing room. We used to say it with Baylor, Aaron falls into the same category for me. The wealth of experience that he's got, just to be around young JJ, and JJ needs to pick his brains about anything, or just to be about the group. He's the captain, and he's wanted to travel. He's been with the group all week. He's done his little bits of work that he's needed to for Cardiff. He's got a plan that he's gone off and done his own bits today. We've had to find a training ground for him today, and he's gone and done it, but he wants to be around the boys, and I think that speaks volumes about what we've got as a group.
There you go, that's Rob Page, and that game live on Talksport tomorrow. Wales' destiny in their own hands. They are away to Armenia. They host Turkey after that on Tuesday, and Croatia hosting Armenia at the same time. So a win for Armenia would send them above Wales, level on points, but with a better head-to-head record. Remember, they won 4-2 in Cardiff. It's an exciting Group D. Wales still have a very good chance. Nigel Adderley will be on commentary duty, Welsh-born of course, and alongside him will be the former Wales striker Dean Saunders, who was excellent on the breakfast show this morning. Live boxing returns to Talksport this Saturday as Denzel Bentley defends his British middleweight title against Nathan Heaney at the Manchester Arena as part of Queensberry's Magnificent 7 event with 7 title fights on the card. These two boxers were on breakfast this morning. Our team on the night includes presenters Adam Cattrall with Gareth A. Davies, the former champion Spencer Oliver and Carl Froch, and commentator John Rawling as well. Bentley versus Heaney tomorrow night from 8 p.m. live on Talksport. Well, half-time in the other game in England's group, and it's Italy 3, North Macedonia 0 in Rome. Stays like that, and Italy only need a draw in Leverkusen on Monday against Ukraine to finish second behind England. So Monday will be a big night for Ukraine, and Talksport brings you a unique programme this Sunday that explores how football in Ukraine has recovered from the devastation and uncertainty of war to find its feet again. In Play On, how football returned to war-torn Ukraine, you'll hear from a wide range of contributors from the Ukrainian football community, including the Arsenal defender Alexander Zinchenko, who describes what it's been like for his Ukraine teammates playing football during the war.
People don't realize that in Ukraine the game could be like 3 hours, because if suddenly siren will be during the game, everyone needs to go to the bunker and wait until siren is done. So you go 1v1 with the keeper, and then suddenly siren, you have to hide inside. And then you have to wait until it's done, and siren could be 1 hour, siren could be 2 hours, and then you have to carry on again. And to play with these conditions all season makes you proud again.
There you go, that's Alexander Zinchenko. You can hear more from him. Very emotional stuff from Zinchenko. Sunday, 9 p.m. in our special documentary, Play On, how football returned to war-torn Ukraine. If you can't listen live, it's now available as a podcast on the TalkSport Daily podcast feed. You can find all the podcasts and much more on the TalkSport app, which is free and easy to download, very easy to use as well. So get yourself the TalkSport app from where you get your TalkSport apps. You can listen, swipe between TalkSport and TalkSport 2 with ease. Well, here at Wembley, England have been terrible. They've disappointed the crowd in the first half, and that's an understatement, but they do lead the game. They lead Malta by 1-0, an own goal to nil. What are we going to see in the second half? Stick with us, because it'll be live right here on TalkSport.
Welcome to 32 Red Online Casino! Incredible! Play over 500 games, including exclusive slots, the Cube, Tipping Point, and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here! Join 32 Red and get a bang tiny welcome bonus up to 150 quid. 150 quid? That's incredible! Visit 32red.com to claim. 18 plus BGambleAware.org. New accounts only. Minimum £10 deposit. Up to 50 times wagering. Max stakes apply. Visit 32red.com for full terms.
New Epic Eats Chip Shop Curry Sauce from McCoy's. Unleash the flavour of aromatic spices and savour the taste of a classic chippy. Epic flavour, epic crunch, Epic Eats. Because only the real McCoy's taste like the real McCoy's.
What you got in store for me?
We're going to start digging a few spuds now with my dad, Bob.
If you're looking to take the next steps to turbocharge your business, get in touch with NatWest. Why did you choose to do crisps?
Well, as potato farmers, we wanted to find other ways to market our potatoes. We wanted to make good quality crisps. We've been with NatWest for a long time and we needed their help. They've made this possible and they've secured our future.
And now get 2 years free everyday banking if you open a startup account or switch to NatWest Business Banking, backed by the current account switch guarantee. Search NatWest Business. Tomorrow begins today.
Criteria apply. Turnover under £1 million for startup, under £2 million for switch. Standard tariff thereafter. Switchers must use full current account switch service. Can't transfer another NatWest Group business account. Other fees may apply. Offer may be withdrawn.
Finally on our city break. What should we do?
Coffee?
Yeah, go on.
Bus tour?
Yes.
Museum?
Yeah.
Lunch?
Yes.
Historic ruins?
Yes.
Theatre show?
Yeah, all right.
Cocktail?
Yeah.
Comedy club?
Oh, yeah.
Ice cream?
Yes.
Fancy a city break where you can say yes more? Better get a travel lodge. Find great value city centre rooms at travellodge.co.uk.
Investing with AJ Bell feels so good, you'll just want to ring that bell anywhere, anytime. In the office, in the pub, on the bus, on a ship, on a train, in the rain, in the gym, in a library, at a wedding, at a librarian's wedding. You can even ring it in space. Underwater. In a sawmill! Or just a good old-fashioned cowbell. Yes, that's the sweet sound of investing with AJ Bell. AJ Bell, feel good investing. The value of investments can go down as well as up.
It's Black Friday in the middle of Lidl, and our prices have gone even littler. Like Emma Original mattresses from $279, an Addis heated cold zero for $34.99, and a Daewoo 4-litre air fryer for $29.99. Get even more in store from Sunday 19th of November. Now that's big on quality and always little on price. Subject to availability, selected stores, GB only.
Here in the UK, we sell amazing products and services the whole world wants.
At the Black Farmer in Devon, our produce is enjoyed on both sides of the Atlantic.
We're McKinnon & Saunders from Manchester, and our puppets are watched on 6 continents.
So whether you're new to exporting or experienced, explore global growth for your business with free support from the UK government. Access information, training, events and expert advice to help you find new customers overseas. Visit great.gov.uk to get started.
Whether you're singing songs dressed as a traffic cone at the Alley Pally, roaring yourself hoarse on the first day of Cheltenham, or hugging a stranger because City just equalised in the 98th minute. With Virgin Bet, it's a good bet you'll be doing it safely and responsibly. Our range of responsible gambling tools mean you can lose yourself in the occasion without losing track of your betting. There's no such thing as a dead cert, but it's a good bet that Virgin Bet can help you keep it safe and enjoyable. Virgin Bet. 18 plus, bet responsibly, begambleaware.org.
It's a sizzling summer of international football.
What a hit!
The Euro 2024 qualifiers live on Talksport.
This is a night that brings us back to where it all began. Gurhey to bring it forward, and then Foden has snapped it into the inside right channel, will make his way forward, and it's driven in for an own goal. Well, that's a terrible mistake by the goalkeeper, who then fouls Kane. It's going to be a penalty to England. Or is he going to book Kane for diving here?
I wouldn't overturn that. If you wanted to outlaw diving in the game, I wouldn't overturn it.
Remember, England haven't had a single attempt on or off target so far with 37 minutes left.
Well, England face Brazil and Belgium in warm-up friendlies next year. The FA have just told us the Brazil fixtures sold out before tickets have gone on general sale. I'm assuming that happened before the first half here tonight. England 1, Malta 0. It's arguably the worst 1-0 lead England have ever had. Second half live on Talksport with the former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside your England commentator Jim Proudfoot.
It's hard to put a first half up against it that has been as bad as that from an England perspective, I must admit, but the saving grace is that England do lead, courtesy of that 8th minute own goal from Pepe. And a couple of changes being made at half-time. Kyle Walker is on, and Bukayo Saka has come on for England as well. Stuart Pearce is alongside me. We're back underway. Stu, I know what you thought of the first 45. What do you make of the the two changes that have been made with Kyle Walker coming on at right back and Bukayo Saka coming on as well.
Well, firstly, I said to Aid at half-time, if you're the England manager and you've got a set plan over 2 games, what you're going to do, and you might think I'm going to give certain minutes to certain players, that goes out the window with the first half performance, and you have to change things because it was so bad. He's done that with 2 players. I thought Tomori was a little bit wanting, and we said that it's what you do in the opposition's half, and I don't think he actually done a great deal in the opposition's half. Gallagher, I was a little bit disappointed in Gallagher coming off potentially, because I thought he was, whilst at times he gave the odd pass away and 1 or 2 other things, I think he was trying to have an impact on the game, but certainly Saka should improve things, and Walker, if he can get galloping forward as well, should do so as well.
All right, you've seen Marcus Rashford make a gallivanting, dynamic run off the ball. It was never likely to be played into him where he was, but he showed willing. So you would imagine, on the strength of improved body language at the start of this second half from England, that there were a few stern words delivered by Gareth Southgate and co downstairs. This is how England are lining up. Pickford in goal, Walker on at right back. It's Guehi and Maguire. Trippier's moved from right back to left back. He actually has played at left back in 12 of his last 23 internationals. Trent Alexander-Arnold alongside Henderson. Foden very much at 10. Saka on the right-hand side. Rashford on the left, and Harry Kane through the middle. And no changes made by Malta, who are in possession, clearing it. Pepe, the scorer of the own goal, chipping it towards the halfway line. Atoma will now chase after it. A man who came very close to giving Malta a shock lead inside 30 seconds. Now Maguire will play the ball down for England, who've won it back, and Trippier helping it on towards Rashford, maybe a little bit on his heels. Joseph Mbong knocks it away, and out of play for an England throw. Couple gone in the second half. You would talk sport. It's England 1, Malta 0. But it might not be for long, because again England have given it away, and a chance for Toma to be able to bring it forward towards the edge of the penalty area here for Malta. England have regained their defensive shape and taken any sting out of the counter-attack, but Mbong will pull it back. He's looking for Yankam, and it's knocked away, and Michele Marcolini, the Maltese coach, jumping up and down on the edge of his technical area in frustration that they didn't make more of an opportunity. It was a 2-on-2 for a moment there.
Well, for a horrible moment, I thought he'd pulled it back and it got to Yankam. It wasn't for Trent Alexander just getting in the way of that, but you can certainly see that the players have been told in no uncertain terms in England shirts to liven up a little bit in the energy that at least they're showing in the game. And it might not be a bad game for the manager. I don't know what he said to him at half-time. It might not be in a bad game to actually wipe the floor with 1 or 2 and collectively as well, because the performance is not good enough in breaking this opposition down to actually go and win a trophy next summer.
Rashford will play back for Trippier. Now, there was a time in the not too distant past, although it's a habit that England have largely been able to get out of since Gareth Southgate took over, where a match like this would see an arduous one-dimensional display probably more often than not. Games like this would be tough against sides who defended with a low block. Not that Malta have done that spectacularly so, but they've been very well organised, but they have shown a willingness to try and take England on the other way. But England have just slipped back into bad habits on the strength of what we've seen in the first 45 minutes. There's still time to put a bit of a gloss on the performance and rectify the situation and spare the blushes from what we saw in the first 45 minutes. I'll bring it forward now with Kyle Walker. He's winning his 81st cap tonight. 4 from him to Foden. Foden down towards the England left-hand side for Rashford. Rashford now towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to take it on. He's still got it, gets to the byline. Saw that it took a deflection. Lets the ball run over the line and out of play for a corner which will be taken on the England left.
It's those sort of actions from Rashford is what's needed on a more regular basis. Not much is happening for him, but at least on that occasion he's picked the ball up, he's run against the opposition, and we've got a corner.
Rashford showing for the short one. Now peels away. It's going to be a Foden delivery. Saka standing on the edge of the 6-yard box. Maguire with a looping header on target, but comfortably claimed by Bonello. I think that will go down, though, as England's first attempt on target of the night. And it's taken 50 minutes. It was a very routine save by Bonello. Malta will play the ball out, then go back for their goalkeeper again. Bonello chipping it down towards the right-hand side for Toma. Rashford's headed it past him. And it goes out of play for a throw. England unbeaten in 36 qualifiers at home. They've won 32 of those. It's a run that stretches back some 16 years. 16 years ago this week, as Adrian was talking about earlier, when Croatia stopped England reaching the 2008 Euros with a win here. Rain that night, you might remember. I think the manager remembers that. Here's Kane. Kane will bring it forward, Saka ahead of him. It goes out towards the England right-hand side, but Kane's still got it. And then he turns neatly on the edge of the penalty area. Toma sticks a toe in and can flick it away to relative safety. And then he'll play it forward for Mbong. And Paul Mbong out towards the left-hand touchline. Kamanzuni diverting it back through the midfield for Goulamier. And then England do well with Trippier. Trippier saw that the ball was going to be pinged out towards Joseph, and Mbong stepped up from the defensive line, won it back, and then tried to feather a ball into the feet of Rashford's run inside the penalty area, overhit it, out of play, and it's a goal kick which will be taken by Bonello for Malta. England 1, Malta 0 with 51 minutes gone here on Talksport. Here's the former England captain, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, that action there by Trippier, he got the pass wrong, he's overhit the pass to Rashford, but you don't mind that, you know, when you need something to happen. He's got onto the ball quickly, he's trying to play a forward pass, and you accept that as a manager and say, well, at least you're trying to do the right things and get us on the front foot.
Paul Mbong in possession, taking it out towards the far touchline, which is the Maltese left. England kicking from right to left in this second half, and they've won it back in the midfield, and Foden now will be able to gallivant forward. Still he goes, and he's beaten a couple of challenges. Rashford to his left-hand side. Rashford beats one, tries to go on inside the penalty area, ends up going down, and the free kick has gone against him. And the boos aimed at the Portuguese official, who has given England not a whole lot tonight. That's not to say that there have been any decisions that he's got massively wrong. And certainly Stuart absolutely adamant that it wasn't a penalty in the first half. On that occasion, Rashford found himself sandwiched between one of the Borges and one of the Mbongs, and he went to ground, and I think he might consider himself a little bit unlucky that a free kick's gone against him.
Yeah, I think it's a big call to give a penalty on that. I think the referee just about got it right. I think the defender got across the front of him and wasn't going to cede his ground.
Yeah, I certainly don't think it was a penalty. But I don't know that Rashford really had anywhere he could go. Here's Mbong at the other end, now towards Kamanzuni. His ball inside the penalty area, travelled a long way. Trippier's there to knock it away from Paul Mbong. And England survive another nervy moment. Now Maguire. Trippier playing it back to him. Maguire didn't want it, with the red shirts converging on him on the edge of his own penalty area, but England get it away. They go back via Pickford and out towards Walker. Walker just took his eye off the ball. It was a poor piece of control. I said earlier it was his 81st cap tonight. It's not, it's his 80th, but he's one of the select band to get into the 80s, the 20th player to win 80 England caps. It's Harry Kane's 88th tonight, Jordan Henderson's 81st, so 3 of the 20 who've won 80 caps for their country on the field at the moment. England will be able to bring the ball forward with Saka out towards Alexander-Arnold, now to Walker, back towards Jordan Henderson again. Henderson shifting it from right foot to left, just by the edge of the centre circle. Alexander-Arnold clipping it down towards Kieran Trippier, wearing 2 but playing a left back in this second half. Rashford back for Henderson again. Henderson to Rashford. Rashford turning and then sending a bouncing ball through the midfield for Mark Gurhey. Kane wanting it into feet, thought that he had a run on Pepe for a moment, and then when the ball does come inside the penalty area, Steve Borge can just shepherd it, protect the space, and let the ball run through for his goalkeeper Henry Bonello. And still, shots on target from England are a real premium. That one comfortable looping header from Maguire, that's been it. We've played 10 minutes of the second half. Toma loses out in the midfield to Alexander-Arnold. He sends it past Toma, back through the centre circle out towards Kyle Walker. Walker to Saka. Saka able to turn, coming in off the right flank, almost at inside left as he's got it now. Kane waiting on the edge of the penalty area, but Saka couldn't find him, and Toma will be able to bring it away.
as I say, the headlines tomorrow, if the result finishes as it is at the moment, I think the performance will be greeted with euphoria in Malta. I mean, I don't follow the national team very much, I must say.
Do you not?
But this is, no, strangely enough. But I've got to say, this is a very good performance by the Maltese side, and they've made it very, very difficult for England, and England have not helped their cause, saying that.
Foden getting it forward here for Harry Kane, just on the edge of the penalty area. Steve Borges with it. Kane flicks it out towards the right-hand side. Walker doesn't drive it inside the penalty area. He plays it back instead towards Henderson. Changing the line of attack now for Rashford. Rashford with the drop of the shot. It gets to the byline. In towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Borges there to knock it away. Just a few signs of a little bit of developing tiredness as far as some of the Maltese are concerned. I mean, England have had plenty of possession tonight, and Malta have had to do an awful lot of chasing. And that might come into play as the night goes on. But it's 1-0 to England at the moment. Walker out towards Bukayo Saka. Saka coming in off the right-hand touchline. Lays it back. Alexander-Arnold back inside the area. Saka! And it's deflected wide. Out of play for an England corner.
Better play there, good play. Little interchange there. Trent playing Saka back in behind the back line. And his deflected shot went behind, but good to see. Once again, a lot of good things that happened through England and England's performance tonight. Trent Alexander's been part of.
Next in action in a Liverpool shirt against Manchester City when the top two meet. First against second when the Premier League returns. Saturday a week tomorrow, and it's live on Talksport. In comes the corner, an away swinger. Headed away by Borge, volley clear from the edge of the area by Kamanzuli. Walker, the deepest of England's outfield players, controls that. And then the ball is worked all the way back by Trippier to his goalkeeper, Pickford. The Maltese are going to make a double change in a moment, and we're going to see Christensen come on in the midfield, and we're going to see Notts County's Jody Jones come on up front. Here's Rashford, onside, there's no flag anyway. Kamanzuli tries to stop him getting a shot in. Could break for Saka, it doesn't quite. Borge on the slide gets it away. Alexander-Arnold takes it on and then runs straight into Rashford, and the two of them have stayed down. Play will continue. Trent's back on his feet, Rashford isn't, and he's lying stricken on the edge of the penalty area, and that was a ferocious collision.
Well, when you know things are not going right, two players just run into each other head to head. Really was quite a collision between the pair of them. Just looking at the replay of that again, just couldn't get out of each other's way. It's like there's no clash of heads in there. Just two players banged into each other, almost shoulder to shoulder.
Well, Malta will make a double change as Marcus Rashford receives the treatment. Christensen coming on. He'll replace Goulamier in the midfield. Bjorn Christensen played in both of the losses to England in qualifying for the 2018 World Cup. And also Jody Jones, who was born in Bow, not a million miles from here in East London, former Dagenham and Coventry and Oxford player. 3 goals in his 17 games for Notts County this season, and he's going to come on to replace Paul Mbong. So the younger of the Mbong brothers, who look lively, has been replaced with just less than an hour on the clock. England 1, Malta 0 the score. Italy, things going their way tonight. They are 3-1 up against North Macedonia in the other game in this group. Denmark have taken the lead against Slovenia in the winner-takes-all clash in Copenhagen tonight. Thomas Delaney with that goal, a Yannick Vestergaard assist. Denmark 2, Slovenia 1. If they win, they will qualify. Slovenia have to win for them to be able to qualify tonight. Elsewhere, earlier, Northern Ireland beaten 4-0 in Finland. Moldova drew 1-1 with Albania. Albania have qualified as a result of that. Also in that group, Poland leading. Oh no, the Czechs, I beg your pardon, have equalised. Thomas Souček scoring the goal. Poland 1, the Czech Republic 1. The Czechs qualify if they win that game tonight. It's 1-1. So Declan Rice is going to be coming on for England in a moment. More changes being made, and we're going to see Cole Palmer come on for his England debut. He will be the 60th player given a debut by Gareth Southgate in his 7 years in charge. And Declan Rice goes across, high fives Palmer now, and that double change is imminent.
I would fully expect it being Henderson and potentially Rashford as well. We'll see. Henderson's the first for the balance of this team, probably, or maybe even Harry Kane.
Rice for Henderson and Palmer for Rashford. It's almost like you know what you're talking about.
Strange, really, really strange that. It's amazing. You put all the balls in the hat and sometimes you just pull the two righter ones out.
So here's Cole Palmer, capped at every level for England, from under 15s all the way up to the seniors now. 4 goals for Chelsea since his move from Manchester City. Only 52 club games in his career, but I don't think anybody that's seen him play in the flesh would begrudge him a place in an England shirt. A fine future ahead of him.
It'd be fair to say he's probably played more international games than club games, has he? First team level?
If you go through all the levels, absolutely. Yeah.
And he's probably typical of what you would want as an England player. When you arrive at this stage to make your full debut, you want tournament experience, you want medals and winning trophies for your country and playing at varying different age groups. And he should be held up as the example of what we want from our young England players.
Well, he's got that 15 caps for the 21s, including the final of the European Championships in the summer, which England won. So he is a European champion at age group level, and he's playing ostensibly on the left-hand side of the front three here, but he will drift inside much more than Marcus Rashford was. Here's Foden for England, who lead 1-0. We played 62 minutes on Talksport, and Kieran Trippier plays it into the feet of Palmer, gets his first touch in an international shirt. Maguire back towards Palmer again. Palmer, the lovely turn. He just plays with an effortless ease at club level, never fazed by any stage of his development. He's not a player whose mannerisms would betray nerves at any stretch. Just seems to take everything into his stride. That's a good turn by Borge inside his own penalty area. Steve Borge that was. Jean Borge playing on the other side of the centre halves. Ball goes in towards Toma, back for Steve Borge again. Jean Borge peels away towards the left-hand side of the penalty area and is found by the goalkeeper, Bonello. Back he goes for Bonello again. Kane leading the press. Bonello chipping it away over Kamanzuli's head. Out of play for an England throw. England have had more control in the game in the last 10 minutes than at any previous stage. Still not creating anything like enough chances to appease Gareth Southgate's wrath, I'm sure. But it is England 1, Malta 0 with 27 minutes to go.
We'll end up coming away from this one scratching our head why the performance was so lacklustre in many ways, but as we said before, Jim, the work had been done, the qualification had been done, but you always want to keep ticking the performances over.
Here's Saka, right hand side of the penalty area, headed away from here, right footed volley from Trent Alexander-Arnold from the edge of the box. A bouncing, skidding effort, and Bonello was able to get behind it and make a comfortable save, and it remains just 1-0 for England. The bottom line is, if it stays this way, 8 wins in 9, 10 in 13, unbeaten in 9, 1 defeat in 15, only 6 for England in the last 52, and the statistics very impressive, but the performance tonight just hasn't been. Everybody allowed an off day now and then, but this has been a collective off day. You're going to have it in the qualification campaign when the job's already done. Here's Maguire, chipped right-footed out towards the right-hand side for Kyle Walker. Walker turning it to his left, infield, and then getting a return ball from Trent. Has it again now, England's number 10, Alexander-Arnold, back towards Harry Maguire. More live international action coming your way tomorrow. Wales will qualify for the Euros if they beat Armenia and Croatia lose to Latvia. And the Welsh game in Yerevan kicks off at 2. It's live on Talksport with Nigel Adderley alongside the former Wales striker Dean Saunders. Monday night, England's next game in Skopje, away to North Macedonia. Build-up starts at 7 ahead of a 7:45 kick-off. And we'll be live in Skopje over the course of the day. And also on Sunday morning with Sean Custis and the Times' Henry Winter, looking back on what has been, prior to tonight anyway, a wonderful qualifying campaign for England and Gareth Southgate. That's all with the Sunday edition this Sunday at 9 a.m. on Talksport. It's a great way, very cerebral start to your Sunday. Foden taking the ball into his stride, and then Palmer eased to the ground by Steve Borge, wins a free kick, and there are no shortage of players that will fancy this. Lovely angle on it, left of centre, 7 yards outside the box.
I think you'll find there'll be no other than Trent Alexander hitting this, something tells me. I think he's been playing pretty well tonight in a lacklustre team performance, and it was his ball once again that split the lines that initiated the free kick.
Trippier stands there as well. Scored from a not dissimilar position than this, slightly right of where this is, and the World Cup semi-final against Croatia. Phil Foden is also there. The three of them deciding what is going next. Then Trippier is going to be the first to vacate the scene. Everybody's money on Trent, I'm sure, to try his luck from this kind of position. The way that it's shaping up, looks as though he's going to be the one to strike it. But Phil Foden is still there. Trent has spotted it down, which is often the giveaway. Do have the opportunity to roll it square for Walker and take the wall out of the equation if they fancy Walker's ability from 28 yards. Looks as though it's going to be Trent, though. Everybody back for Malta. It's a five-man wall. Foden tapping it. Alexander-Arnold driving it over the bar. And a play for a goal. 1-0.
I'm always loath to move the ball if you've got a direct free kick there. I think there's enough ability in the feet of the players on the ball not to move it. It just makes it a little bit rushed, and the opposition narrowed the angle pretty well.
It's all about the live football we've got coming up. There's live boxing as well, returning to Talksport tomorrow. Denzel Bentley defending his British middleweight title against Nathan Healy. That's at the Manchester Arena, and starts at 8. Live on Talksport. Don't forget to head over to the Talksport Boxing YouTube channel. Follow all of the action in the build-up to the fight. Our build-up starting at 8 ahead of Bentley Heaney on Talksport tomorrow. Here's Kieran Trippier for England. Forward towards Cole Palmer, wearing 21. I'm sure that number 21 shirt is a prized possession, will remain so till his dying day. Congratulations to him. As I mentioned earlier, yet another debutant under Gareth Southgate. The 60th. He's the 93rd different player that Gareth Southgate has used. Now there's a pub quiz question for you if you're bored tomorrow. Foden back away from Declan Rice, who's winning his 50th international cap tonight. Not all of them for England. 3 for Ireland, but it is number 50 on the international stage for Declan tonight. Maguire back to Pickford. Pickford out towards the England right-hand side. Kyle Walker getting it forward towards halfway. Saka retreating, gets the ball in defeat, and then just plays the way that he's facing back for Guehi. Now down towards Maguire. Maguire coming forward. We're midway through the second half. England with one difficult shot, well, half difficult shot for the goalkeeper to deal with. Didn't force an outstanding save from him. It was a routine one, but there's only one real effort that's needed saving from England tonight. Maguire bringing it forward. The goal, an 8th minute own goal from the defender Pepe. Here's Maguire flicking it inside the penalty area, too far ahead of Palmer. And Pepe will come across, right on cue to get it away. The Italian-born defender who was awarded Maltese citizenship to be able to get him into the national team. There's a Maltese player down, injured inside the penalty area, and meanwhile, the assistant referee over on the far side, so bored with what he's seen that he's actually pulled the flag off its pole.
He has, and the fourth official was set off with a pace like, well, I've never seen from any of our strikers tonight, to be honest with you. An incredible diagonal run.
And milking the moment, just ever so slightly. He then, having fixed the flag, and now makes his way, still at a very, very decent pace, all the way back round to between the technical areas, and it looks as though he's hardly got a bead of sweat on him. Good play, Ricardo Bachinho, one of the stars of the night for that. The ball out on the right-hand side for England. 20 minutes to go. England 1, Malta 0. Workmanlike with a capital W. Palmer back inside his own half for Harry Maguire. Elsewhere, Denmark 2, Slovenia 1. The Danes will be going through if it stays that way. Italy 3, North Macedonia 1. Italy will be a point away from qualification. Poland 1, Czech Republic 1 in Warsaw, which will keep both of those countries' hopes of qualification going into the final round of fixtures on Monday. It's Pepe at the back for the Maltese. Now Joseph Mbong. Right-footed ball forward from him. Maguire climbs over Reed and flicks the ball away. Maguire then turning on the edge of his own penalty area after getting the ball back from Trent, and he goes back for Pickford. Pickford out towards Mark Gurhey. Gurhey will play to his left-hand side, and Jordan Pickford will bring it back. We're in the final 20 minutes, and England have led 1-0 for a little over an hour now. Trippier's got it. Palmer shows short, gets the ball in defeat, finding his former Manchester City teammate Foden. Alexander-Arnold playing it forward, but it's won back by Jody Jones, and the London-born Maltese striker will try and bring it forward. He just turned, the moment's hesitation as he did so allowed Kane to win it back, and then as Kane gets it forward, Saka can't get it into his stride, and Malta work it back for goalkeeper Bonello, who will chip it down towards Joseph Mbong. He will bring it forward, but Mbong loses out. Trippier was in his way. Palmer takes over. Palmer forced the infield, and Mbong has followed him every step of the way and has robbed him of possession. Now he's got Reed making a run to his left-hand side. There's a poor ball to try and find him. Gurhey wins it and goes back for Pickford.
Yeah, once again, another sniff of that counter-attack threat from Malta. On that occasion, we've got the insurance policy of Declan Rice hovering around the centre of the pitch.
England have made 4 changes so far. They've still got the options of debutants Lewis and Konsa to be able to bring on. Phillips, Grealish, Bowen and Watkins, the other outfield players who are sat on the bench. And I mentioned earlier, Harry Kane, only once in his career before tonight, has had a scoring streak of 7 successive games for club and country, and he failed to score. That was when he came off the bench in the German Super Cup earlier this season and didn't score, but tonight giving him another opportunity to score in 8 successive games for club and country for the first time in his career, and they haven't given him a sniff of being able to do it so far. Rice back here on the edge of the box. Foden, brilliant turn from him, good quick feet. Kane amongst those waiting in the middle. Ball was driven in, and Palmer couldn't get there. He was ahead of the ball, and he just came back behind him, and he couldn't flick his right foot far enough out behind him to be able to bring it under control. England end up recycling and getting a throw out of it, and it's taken quickly on the right flank. It's still 1-0, 18 minutes to go, and the ball goes all the way back towards halfway, and Maguire again.
Yeah, if you'd have said to me before the game Harry Kane wouldn't have had a shot or an effort at goal, I don't think he has he? No, you would have said it's impossible, absolutely impossible.
And it's one of those nights as a commentator that you're looking at potential lines of Harry Kane scoring a hat-trick rather than the potential lines of him not scoring a goal at all. England have scored hat-tricks in 4 of the last 7 home qualifiers that they've had in the European Championship. Kane's got a couple of those against Bulgaria and Montenegro. Saka got 1. Raheem Sterling as well in a game against the Czechs 4 and a bit years ago. Here's Declan Rice. Goes out towards the England right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. England leading 1-0. It was 2-0 when England played Malta in Gareth Southgate's first game in charge. Daniel, Sturridge and Dele Alli, the goal scorers that day. Sturridge getting the first goal of Southgate's reign. There have been another 197 since. Only 1 tonight, and it wasn't scored by an Englishman. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Back out towards the England right-hand side. Walker can drive forward. Walker into the feet of Foden. Foden to Saka. Saka to Kane. And he scores. And there is his personal record. An 8th successive game in which he's found an effort club and country. Something he's never done before. The celebration is one of utter relief. Kane's 15th goal in his last 8 games. It's his 40th in a qualifier for England, his 62nd for his country, and it's finally England 2, Malta 0.
Well, once again, really clinical play there. Trent setting it up in the midfield area. Walker got onto it, drove at the back line, and a great interchange between Foden and Saka that freed up Kane, middle of the goal, and he doesn't miss from there.
Brilliant play by Foden. Saka did well as well. Good first touch. And then flicked it square with his second. Kane there to tap it in. And it's England 2, Malta 0. Harry Kane's 11th goal in his last 10 internationals. It's his 48th goal of the calendar year. England lead it by 2-0. And that is a scoreline, let's be honest, that it puts probably an unfair gloss on the night as far as they're concerned. It's a scoreline that's much better than the performance.
It does, and the game might end up at 3 or 4-0 potentially, and it probably doesn't give us the full picture, as you and I know.
Well, here's Trent Alexander-Arnold finding Declan Rice. England hungry for more. It is Rice, and there is more straight away. 2 in a minute, probably only about 20 seconds after the restart. Rice bringing it forward and curving one with his right foot into the bottom right-hand corner. And it's England 3, Malta 0.
Well, that is what Declan Rice should be doing on a regular basis, driving with the ball, his energy, his stature, dipped inside, and then the goal just opened up for him, just on the edge of the box, and just curl it in the far corner with pace and power. Really good play. And I've got to say, a fantastic run. I think it was Foden that took the defender's eye line away, enabled Declan to come inside and open the goal up. Yeah, it was Foden's movement.
Really good strike by Rice. 2 in a minute for England. Kane on 75 and Rice on 76 with the 200th goal that England have scored under Gareth Southgate in 90 games. England 3, Malta 0.
Well, it puts a totally different slant on the scoreline, but it certainly doesn't put a different slant on the performance, that is for sure. And sometimes you have to wait till latter stages of games before certain teams get a little bit more tired, can't stay with runners, can't deal with quicker passing.
Well, the goal is still being checked. And the VAR hasn't signalled for the restart yet. And what they're looking at, I think, is the position of 2 players. And it's going to be disallowed. It's going to be disallowed. And it's been disallowed for 2 players standing in offside positions or deemed to be in offside positions and interfering with the line of sight of the goalkeeper. Harry Kane, I think, is the principal one. And he was behind the Maltese back line as the shot comes in. There's no way that he can be having any material effect whatsoever on Bonello's dive. Bonello was beaten by the pace of the shot. He saw it. He wasn't unsighted, in my opinion, from the angles that we've seen. But it has been disallowed, and it's back to 2-0.
I've got to say that was a poor decision. I was at Villa Park for the Brighton game, and there was a goal that was ruled a bona fide goal. That to be fair, I don't know who it was. I can't remember the player now.
Zaniolo that was offside.
Yeah, it was an incredible decision how that was allowed. And then this decision here, I'm not seeing the goalkeeper being onside in any way, shape or form. It's terrible having a goal chalked off when you scored one for your country, a goal of that magnitude for Declan.
So another change made by Malta, and they've taken Jean Borges off, and they've replaced him with Zach Muscat, who plays his club football in the Portuguese top flight. Just won promotion last season and is playing for Firenze. So he has come on. 79 on the clock. It's England 2, Malta 0. Trippier. Ball down towards the left-hand touchline, back for Maguire. Sir Kane has been moaning about that. I'm sure he still is aggrieved about the yellow card that he got for diving in the first half when he thought it should have been a penalty, although that's a decision that Stewart was more than happy with. Toma plays the ball forward for Malta. Now towards Jones. Jones goes back towards halfway. Toma just has Kane nick the ball away from him, and then Kane goes down. It's a free kick that will be taken by England on the right flank. 10 to go, 2-0.
Yeah, as I say, disappointment in regard to the scoreline. Certainly that confused me slightly, that decision, but it's the nature of the game.
Now Italy were 3-0 up, and it's now Italy 3, North Macedonia 2. And Yanni Atanasov has scored twice, one on 52, one on 74. So they've got about 15 minutes to go in that game. And it's now 3-2. Here's Foden bringing it forward for England. Got a shot in, was well blocked by Borge. And then Toma trying to get away from Walker inside the centre circle. Played to his right-hand side for Yankam. And the Maltese perhaps sensing that they've had a little bit of a let-off with the goal that wasn't given Declan Rice's way. And now attacking with a little bit more urgency and exuberance as we go into the final 10 minutes. Really believing that they might be able to make a grandstand finish of this. Maguire's got it inside his own penalty area. Played out towards the right-hand side for Kyle Walker. Walker forward towards Trent Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold working it, trying to look for Saka, making a run down the right-hand side, but the left-back was able to get it away from Malta. Played down towards Yankam. Yankam inside the centre circle, goes back for Borge. Now Pepe. Out to the left-hand side for Kamanzuli. His ball back through the midfield for Toma. Work back out towards the left flank again for Malta. We've got 8.5 to go. Now, coming up at the conclusion of the game, England correspondent Faye Carruthers will be asking Gareth Southgate for his honest assessment of this performance, and I think we can sense which way that might go. I'll be speaking to the headline makers as well, and all of that reaction coming along with your reaction on the Sports Bar Weekender from 10 o'clock tonight. You can put your calls now. 03717 22 3344 is the number for you to have your say this evening on Talksport. Here's Declan Rice. Snap forward from him, but it was a poor ball. And Jones will win it back and will now drive forward through the England midfield. Kamanzuli making a run outside Toma. Toma uses that as the decoy, comes back inside. Side footed towards Yankam. Yankam down towards the right-hand side for Mbong. Mbong good little step over from Toma, and the right-footed shot is only narrowly wider than the near post. Good Malta move that. The Yankam couldn't get the angle right, and he snatched it a little, and it goes wide of the side, netting and out of play for a goal kick, 2-0.
Once again, neat football from the Maltese. Passed it through the thirds once again. Concise passing, 1 and 2 touch. And arrived in the box, and a snapshot. I think Pickford always had it covered.
So England 2, Malta 0. Elsewhere still Italy 3, North Macedonia 2. The implications of that are that Italy will only need a draw against Ukraine in Leverkusen on Monday if it stays that way. But if they don't hang on tonight, and they've got history against the Macedonians, remember, then they will need to beat Ukraine to finish in the top 2. Maguire goes out towards the right-hand side of the back line for England. Malta have had some notable results in the past. A goalless draw with West Germany back in the late 1970s. A narrow 3-2 defeat by the same opposition 5 years later. Came very close to embarrassing England back in 2000. And Malta scored in that game, a 2-1 friendly defeat, and a penalty that hit the post and counted in off Richard Wright. Wright then saved an 88th minute penalty to protect England's lead. England have played better today than they played that day, I can assure you. But maybe it's a closer run thing than Gareth Southgate would like. Here's Declan Rice inside the centre circle. Down towards Kieran Trippier. Trippier forward towards Foden. Happy to draw Maltese players towards him. 3 came after him like beasts of the honey pot. But he still was able to pop the ball back for Trippier and create space elsewhere. Malta are going to make another change. They're going to be bringing Kane Attard on shortly, a defender. Trippier forward towards halfway, into the feet of Harry Kane, and then back for Trippier again. Now towards Maguire. Saka peels away out towards the right-hand side. Ball played forward by Henderson into the feet of Palmer. Now Saka has it. Good fluidity amongst England's attacking players, because Palmer ostensibly on the left-hand side is now out on the right. Kane's come out to the left. Foden and Saka both playing through the middle. It was a front 4 for a moment there. Rice has got it. Rice down towards Kane. Kane just inviting the challenge from Mbong. Ball goes out of place, and England throw, and Mbong will come off, and Kane Attard will come on to replace him for the closing stages of the game. Attard, another player who plays his club football in Portugal, but in the second division for Belenenses, and he'll be coming on. 5 to go. England 2, Malta 0.
Yeah, there's fluidity about England because we got good technicians of the ball. Obviously, the performance tonight has not echoed that, but we've got some very good technicians of the ball on the pitch at the moment in Saka, Foden, Kane, you name it. They can all deal with the ball so well.
Looks as though Italy are going to be able to get the job done after all. Giacomo Raspadori has just restored their 2-goal cushion. Italy 4, North Macedonia 2. So they'll only need a draw on Monday in Leverkusen against Ukraine. Foden playing it through the midfield here for Declan Rice. England leading 2-0. Time for more though. Here's Kane. Kane to Walker. Walker across, and Rice couldn't get it into his stride to get a shot in. And it bounces off his right foot and goes wide.
Much better from England that was. I mean, Foden started it off. He set the ball off with a brilliant crossfield pass into the centre circle, and then he went like stink to make the box. Incredible run. Just looking at the replay of his ability to get there, and he was the one that sort of just in front of Declan Rice, and Declan just got in front of the ball slightly. Well, I think he's tried to flick it through his own legs, but the ball was too far behind him.
And Foden, in making that run, drew the defenders, and that created the space for Rice, who was already there. You're not missing anything because Malta have a player down injured inside the 6-yard box. 3.5 minutes of normal time to go. There'll be a little bit of time to be added on at the end of the game because of the VAR check and the raft of substitutions and the clash between Rashford and Alexander-Arnold as they ran into each other, which saw both need treatment. So there will be a few extra minutes to be played. And a reminder that England take on North Macedonia in Skopje on Monday. It's a 7 o'clock start, live on Talksport ahead of a 7:45 kickoff.
Well, if there was 80,000 in the stadium at the start of the game, I would say there's probably about 30 in now, Jim.
Yeah, there's about 40,000 on the Metropolitan line as we speak. Good news for the rest of us. Borge is okay, and he will be back on in a moment after that treatment inside his 6-yard box. Malta tiring, try and get the ball out from the free kick, and it's come straight back. Palmer's done well to link up. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold, goalkeeper does well, beats it away, and then critically Cameron Zuli was there to follow up, and he will be able to clear further from inside his own penalty area and out of play for a throw.
Yeah, unorthodox from the cat. He just collapsed onto his haunches but parried it away with 2 hands. I think he was almost going to his left when he's had to check back to his right.
Yeah, bit of cut spin on the shot from Trent, good swerve on it, but clear. Score in the first game against Malta, a game that England won 4-0. This one is 2-0 tonight. Own goal on 8 minutes from Pepe, and Harry Kane on 75 minutes, his 62nd goal for his country and his 8th within this qualification campaign.
I'm looking down at the technical areas there. I can see the Maltese manager, but Gareth isn't there. Maybe he's on the Met line as well. What do you think?
Well, I think to avoid phase a line of direct questioning after the game, that might be the exact location.
She's sharpening a knife at the far end of our booth as we speak.
Well, England might yet get a third. They've got a free kick to give them an opportunity. Free kick that will be taken 7 yards in from the left-hand touchline. A chance just to tease the ball forward for the likes of Walker and Kane and Rice, all 6'3" plus, waiting in a line inside the penalty area. Foden and Trippier, the 2 players standing over this. Foden raises his right arm. It's he that takes it, but didn't get enough distance on it. Jody Jones is going to be able to knock it away after a defensive header, and it goes out of play ultimately for a throw that'll be taken on the Malta right, and Foden in frustration just toe pokes the ball softly into the hoardings in front of us, just to take up his frustration of a poor free kick that he'd taken. Well, England, as you know, have already won the group. This will take them up to 19 points within the group out of a possible 21. Now, 19 may well be enough for England to have one of the best 5 records of the group winners. That's what they have to do. Germany, as hosts, will be amongst the top seeds. Portugal already guaranteed a place amongst the top seeds as well. We go into 6 minutes of added time here at Wembley on Talksport. It's a 6 that hasn't been greeted with delight by too many in the crowd, and supporting either England or Malta. Spain, France, both with records that are a bit as good as England's so far. But England will actually move above Spain into second place in the table of group winners with this win. And the bottom line is that unless there's an extraordinary set of results in the final games, and England get a hiding in North Macedonia and Turkey win by a cricket score in their final game, then this result will be enough for England to be in the top seeds. It won't be mathematically certain after tonight, but it may well be mathematically certain by the time England are next in action. Foden's got the ball off towards Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, when it comes down to it, by the time we get to the tournaments, performances in games like this are long forgotten, at least by the fans, who won't be by Gareth. Here's Palmer on the left-hand side of the penalty area, trying to find a way through. Oh, it's a brilliant quick feed from Cole Palmer, who then, in trying to get it across, sees his ball in deflected by a fullback and over the net. Attar did really well to stick to his sides, but that was just delightful for Palmer.
It certainly was what is commonly known as a jinking run there by Palmer. He's done brilliant, just rolled it past Attar's right leg and just got it the other side. And I've got to say, a fantastic recovery challenge.
So a late England corner, and it's going to be taken by Foden. 4.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. It's England's third corner of the second half and their 6th of the game. Maguire is waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Kane stands by the penalty spot. Rice is right in front of the goalkeeper. Gurhey is in there as well. Kane made a run. It looks as though just collided with one of the Maltese defenders. It's half cleared. Kane will be able to then pick it up out towards the right-hand touchline after Saka had passed it out there. And Kane will work it all the way back for Trippier. Trippier back for Rice. Rice is inside his own half as well. He covered a lot of ground very quickly to get back. Gurhey to Walker. And now England will bring it forward with Maguire. Maguire to Trippier. Down towards Gurhey again. Palmer dropping back inside his own half. I think that has been one of the positives tonight from an England perspective. Cole Palmer, never likely to look out of place, in all fairness, but he's just taken to international football like a duck to water. From what we've seen so far, he has been the England player, along with Foden, who's had that ability and that little trick to be able to unlock tight situations.
Yeah, for his first cap, he's come on, he's looked very confident on the ball. It's part of his game, we know that. But on top of that, Foden, I think, tried to make things happen and has done on occasion. And Trent Alexander has come from a right back who couldn't get in the squad for a long period of time to our most creative midfield player in the deep lying area.
Is that most creative midfield player tonight without a great degree of competition alongside him, or have you been genuinely impressed by Trent's performance tonight?
No, I've been impressed by it. If you ask me to pick a man of the match, it will be between Trent and Foden.
Well, it certainly is the role that England see him in long term, not as a fullback. Whenever squad lists are officially announced by England, he's always classified as a midfielder these days rather than a defender. It is only the 10th time that he's played for England in their last 45 internationals, but certainly you would feel that, injury willing, he'll be playing in a high proportion of the next 45. A couple of minutes to go. Still England 2, Malta 0. And the Maltese will push forward. Still no sign of the first competitive goal in their history against England. Jody Jones has just given a free kick away, skidding into Trippier. And it's out for a free kick that will be taken by England on the right-hand touchline, level with the edge of their own penalty area. And a reminder that the live international football continues tomorrow. Big game for Wales. Win in Armenia, coupled with a Croatia defeat to Latvia, which is a tad unlikely later in the day, but you never know. And Wales will have qualified. Armenia against Wales starts at 2 on Talksport tomorrow. Still playing in Copenhagen, Denmark 2, Slovenia 1. deep in stoppage time there. Danes hold on. They've qualified. Albania have already qualified today. In fact, Denmark have qualified. They've won that game. Full-time whistle has just gone at the Parker. So Denmark are through. Albania qualified earlier today. Poland won, Czech Republic won. Will mean that neither of those are going through today. The Poles couldn't, but their hopes will still be alive. England have got the ball in the midfield with Harry Maguire. We've got a minute to go. A clean sheet is a clean sheet. It will be England's 8th in 13 games, although we very nearly lost it inside the opening 30 seconds. Here's Rice, back inside his own penalty area for Jordan Pickford. Pickford plays out from the back to Gurhey, back for Pickford again. Many more empty red seats around now. Play forward by Pickford. Foden given the instruction to turn. Back for Trippier. Declan Rice. And the referee puts his whistle to his mouth and signals the end of the game. Oh, hasn't.
And the game goes on. He's lost his pee in his whistle, sadly for the rest of us here.
Yeah, he's found it again, and that is the end of the game. Well, Gareth Southgate's first match in charge saw England beat Malta by 2-0, and his latest one ends in a result that is identical to that. Not a great performance by any stretch of the imagination as far as England are concerned. Pepe putting through his own net very early on. It took England the best part of an hour to have a shot on target. Harry Kane did score at the end of England's best move of the game. Kane deemed to be in an offside position to deny England a third just seconds later when Declan Rice's goal was chalked off. England will play much, much better than this in nearly every subsequent game that they play under Gareth Southgate. But tonight, they've got the job done after a fashion. The result was okay. Performance, not really okay. But England have beaten Malta by 2-0, and that will almost certainly be enough for them to be top seeds in the draw.
Was barely anyone left in Wembley Stadium, and the children who've been brought to this game is a special treat. I feel for you. Those who paid good money to be in Wembley tonight, you deserve better. Those who took a day off or may have to be up early after getting home late tonight, you have my sympathy. If you came here to see some of England's best players perform, they simply did not. And you can't, with football, over the years, you'll all know, if you're paying football fans, you can't guarantee goals, you can't guarantee entertainment or anything when you come to football, but you've every right to expect better than this tonight. Even VAR couldn't help but get involved. If I say brilliant football for England's second, Walker to Foden to Saka to Kane, great goal, really great goal. I'm not sure any team could have defended that one-touch brilliant football with the finish, but that was a blip as far as the England performance was concerned. They were truly dreadful tonight, and I think Stuart Pearce, you know, every team can have an off day. I get that, but this will just add fuel to the critics. I was on breakfast this morning. Gabby Agbonlahor was insistent. Pep's got to take over. He's not going to do anything, Gareth. The changes he makes aren't any good. They don't use the talented players they've got well. He was giving it the big one about that. I was trying to defend Gareth. I can't really defend that performance there. So what would you say? We've won the game. That's the only positive, really.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only positive. Firstly, I've got to tip my hat to the Maltese team. I thought they were very dogged in what they were trying to do, and also as well, when they did win the ball back, they had a cutting edge to play through the thirds and dealt with the ball very well, and some good interchanges. That aside, England, aside from, I would say, Trent and Foden, certainly as creative from starting players, the rest of the team were very lacklustre, I've got to say, and played at a tempo that wasn't good enough to test a dogged Maltese defence.
Well, the players are making their way off the field. They've kind of tried to do a lap of honour and then realised that there's not many fans left in the stadium, which is absolutely and rightly a reflection of the performance. Sports Bar Weekender is coming up, and notorious after England games, the Sports Bar Weekender, for laying into Southgate and the team, and I'm pretty sure they'll do the same tonight. 03717 223344. Stuart, in your many appearances for England, there will have been games at Wembley where things didn't go to plan, you lost or didn't play well or whatever, and when you walk around and nobody's left, or virtually nobody's left, how is that feeling for an England player?
Well, it's a soulless feeling, to be fair, but the bottom line is the players know that, whether there's people in the crowd or not. They'll walk off the pitch, the manager knows it, the coaches know it, and the players themselves know that this wasn't a very good performance. There's no doubt about that. It was a lacklustre performance, and we really, really struggled to break a team down that were dogged. We've been brilliant. We're a very good counter-attack side when teams come onto us, but it's unlocking teams that just bank up and say, OK, fine. And these are not... Well, they're ranked 171, I think, in the world. So, and we didn't test their goalkeeper enough by any stretch of the imagination.
Why? Listen, it's a question that might take a long time to answer. But can you sum up exactly why England were so bad? And we'll talk about some of the positive performances, because I know there's some players you will want to talk about for England tonight. But why was it so bad? Because when you look at this group, I mean, Malta's results away have been... They've scored in North Macedonia but lost 2-1. They lost only 1-0 in Ukraine. Got battered in Italy 4-0. We expected England, being the best team in the group... We've won the group, so we are the best team in the group. We expected England, albeit with a few players out, to put this lot to the sword tonight. We expected a 4 or 5-0. But they didn't get that, and didn't even get a performance to go with it. So... it's such a frustration, and I want to know what England fans are feeling as they head home. We'll find out on the phones a little bit later on. We'll get reaction from the England camp as well, and from Gareth Southgate. But it must be so frustrating for England fans who feel they're on the brink of winning a tournament, and then they see something like this. It knocks the confidence in Southgate and England.
It will rock the confidence on putting a performance on against a lesser light team and cutting them open easily. When we did play 1 and 2 touch and played forward quickly in the second half, certainly for Harry Kane's goal, it looked very impressive. But I think the build-up from the back with the 3 was a little bit slow and didn't ask enough questions. And when the ball went into midfield, it was probably only Trent Alexander that had the foresight and the passing range to hurt the opposition with balls in behind and balls fed into Foden. That was the link for me that was decent for England. Trent getting on the ball, shoving it into Foden's feet, Foden getting turned, and then we start to expose their back 4, or back 3 or back 5, whichever way you look at it. But aside from that, nobody else offered, anything to me to suggest they could break the Maltese down.
Is there a particular area of the field? I know you're talking about the 3 coming out from the back. Is that where the problem was? I mean, is Gareth going to analyse the game, look back on it between now and maybe Monday, and look at it and say, the problem is bringing the ball out the back? Or is he going to look at the midfield 3? Or is he going to look at those creative players up front? Or is he going to look at the changes he makes? Is it a simple solution to what looked like a pretty big problem tonight?
I don't think it's a simple solution at all. I think the dynamics didn't work at all with the players. I still come away with a little bit of frustration with Marcus Rashford, and I look at certain things in games, and I thought Gallagher tried to make something happen. He was busy, he ran around, he got passes wrong at times. I can live with that as a player. Foden done that. He rushed around, he tried to get on the ball, he tried to make something happen, he come off his perch to get on the ball, and he tried to. But at the front end of the team, I'd like to see Marcus do that on occasion. Don't stand out on the wing and wait for the ball to arrive at your feet and go on a run. Don't look very threatening when the ball's over the top or it's a counter-attack when you've just got someone one-on-one in 50 yards of space. Come and get involved in the game. Come off your perch on occasion. If it's not working for you out there, go and make it happen for you, And he's such a good talent that we just want a bit more from him. And when we scored that goal, Aid, we're on 20 minutes, and I said then, I'm glad we got that goal in the bag, because it would be a volatile atmosphere otherwise here. I think people, instead of getting bored with it, they would have been a bit more vocal about their boredom.
A word on Tomori, who was taken off at half-time. So he started in an unfamiliar position, left-back, and admittedly moved into centre-back when we've got the ball and going forward. I get that. But he's been started in an unusual position for him and then taken off at half-time. Yeah. I've got to feel sorry for him.
Well, you have got to feel sorry for him, but as I said to you during the half-time interval, Gareth's got to make a statement. I'm surprised he didn't take more than 2 players off, if I'm being honest with you. You could not go back in the dressing room as England manager, even if you had a plan of making changes on 60 minutes, and put the same team out on that pitch and not do anything about it, because you leave yourself woefully open for criticism if you did.
Talk to me about Cole Palmer. Came on for England and he kind of looked the part, I thought. He looked like he'd been playing for England for a long time, which he actually has in the junior groups.
Yeah, exactly that. He's the ideal pathway that we want for all our international players. You know, to arrive here tonight with an England winners' medal at the younger age groups, played in the younger age groups, been to the tournaments. That was always my vision. You know, when we spoke at Brazil at the World Cup,
nearly 10 years ago.
Exactly. My vision before that, when I first joined the FA, was to arrive somebody as a player to step on the pitch with the experience he's got at those younger age groups. He went on. He was one of the bright spots in this team, which wasn't hard to do, to be fair, because it was that lacklustre. But listen, I thought he'd done very well. He's comfortable on the ball. He went past people. He ran at people, and he gives another option to Gareth.
Yeah, he does. How much of a chance has he got of making the Euros? There's a lot of players out. We've had a lot of call-outs, withdrawals this particular camp for injury. How much of a chance has Cole Palmer got?
I'll tell you what, he's probably... If I was Marcus Rashford now and he's come on to take my place and he's had the impact that he had in that short space of time, I'd be panicking if I was Marcus. Because something's got to give. I think he's got every chance of breaking into the squad. If he keeps doing what he's doing for Chelsea, and then when he gets another chance for England, potentially, if it's in March and he's doing quite well, we've got Brazil and Belgium coming to town, if he gets an opportunity on the pitch and plays quite well, he's got every chance. As I say, he's coming onto the scene at the right time.
It's really interesting because out of a very negative evening as far as England are concerned, the fans won't be happy with the performance. There's a positive there, and actually it's something that is good and positive for Gareth Southgate. He often gets accused of sticking with his picks, having his favourites. Here's a situation where somebody out of nowhere, in the summer you would never have thought that Cole Palmer would break into the Euro squad, and we're now looking at it saying, hang on a minute, he's got every chance of doing that. That's Gareth Southgate giving a youngster a chance, unexpectedly giving him a chance in the England first team, and he's made the most of it tonight.
Well, you've got to understand as well, Gareth Southgate was at that under-21 tournament with Steve Holland. So they went there, they watched training, they watched the games, and they were close at it because they take the time and the effort to go and do that. So they know what this kid's like on the road. They know what he's like at a major tournament with the under-21s as a kid and as a team member and a squad member. So it's no surprise to me that he's elevated one or two players when the opportunity is right from the under-21s that are champions of Europe, by the way.
And I can't defend this performance tonight, but one thing you've said there that I think a lot of people won't realise, that not every England manager has done that in the past, and not every England manager in the future will have the care for all age groups that Gareth Southgate has got to make that effort with his assistant to go to the under-21s, to check out those players with a view to the pathway, and potentially the following summer taking at least one of them to the European Championships. That's what we want from our England manager. It's kind of unseen work that Gareth Southgate does that not every England manager will do.
That's why this squad have got the buy-in that they have, because he's made it his business at the younger age groups to be there at the tournaments and go and watch the players play. So that's probably why he's had the conversations, you know, away from the spotlight and away from the senior environment with these young players, you know. And listen, I know how much he cares about the whole pyramid, not just his little ivory tower at the top end of it, and that's what prides me in him.
We've got a text here. This is Jack and Andy, Gillingham and Palace fans. They've been to Wembley tonight. It says, myself and my pal left at half-time. On the plus side, we're on our way to Heathrow, staying overnight, flying out tomorrow to Macedonia. So genuine England fans, I can't understand the leave at half-time. You missed a brilliant goal, by the way, and it's a small moment in what was an awful game of football from an England point of view, but you've missed actually a brilliant England goal. So disappointing from that point of view. How will Gareth feel about it, do you think? You know him very well. He knows he's going to get some criticism. I would advise him against listening to the Sports Bar Weekender tonight, but if he were to tune in, if he was in a taxi on the way home and the cabbie's got it on and he's listening to some of the criticism that this England performance is going to get from the Talksport listeners, how would he feel about it? Does he take it to heart, do you reckon?
He's balanced. We know he's balanced. If I was him, I'd ring in the sports bar. I would turn round and say, you know what? No one feels as let down as I do tonight. Because he's put a team out there that he hoped would deliver a performance. And they didn't do it. Bar a couple of players, they didn't do it. And he'll be disappointed and let down by that. And I think their reaction at half-time said that he had one or two choice words with those players when they come back in at half-time. You know, about, look, if you think you can go through the motions wearing your nationals colours, you can't. If we think we're going to go and win a major tournament next summer, you've got to put performances in that suggest you're on your way to pick a trophy up. Tonight wasn't one of those. I expect it to be a lot better come Monday. And more importantly, when we come into the March period with two blue chip teams coming to town, that's when we've really got to knuckle down and say we've got to put performances on that are going to make everybody that's going to Germany sit back and say, hey, we're coming for the trophy this time. I thought we were in Qatar, and there was an ingredient missing.
Yeah, and marginals as well there, a missed penalty, and who knows what would happen if it went to 2-2. We will be hearing from Harry Kane shortly. Faye Carruthers is down there getting reaction from the England camp. We'll hear that live on the show very shortly, and get your calls into the Sports Bar Weekend at 03717 22 3344 is the number to call. Listen, and I'm struggling for a positive, but for this to happen now, a performance like this, it can be turned into a positive, because every player will be reminded between now and Monday, if they weren't reminded at half-time, you cannot have those performances. It could turn out to be a good thing for England in terms of the tournament next summer.
Gareth would have found out a bit more about one or two of his players. He's looking, we're in the running at this stage, you know, to formulating a squad. He's got a lot of options. You've talked about Cole Palmer, who's just come and put his CV on the table today with that second half performance. So all of a sudden, you've got options.
Let's hear from Harry Kane. He's live on Talksport with Faye Carruthers.
Harry, let's start with the positives. 3 points and a clean sheet. Pretty much sealed a place in pot one for the Euros, which is job done in that case. But it was a really tough watch at times. How did you rate the performance?
I think it was below our usual standard for sure. We know that. We didn't start the game well. We was a bit lacklustre with our passing, the tempo of our passing. Didn't quite get the pressing right either, and credit to them, you know, they exploited that quite well. But look, we know we can improve on that. We're not going to complain too much. You know, it's a tough stage of the season where there's a lot of injuries, there's a lot of games being played. So sometimes you just, you know, couldn't quite keep the tempo high tonight. But I thought second half we come out and controlled it better. Still probably don't create as much chances as we'd have liked. But again, look, we take the 3 points, we secure pretty much the top seed, and we move forward to Monday.
Is that what you put it down to, that the stage of the season that we're at, that there didn't seem to be that much cohesion? But as you say, you did come out in the second half more full of intent. What was the message at half-time in the dressing room? Yeah, just to up the tempo, really, and be better with the ball. You know, there was too many just little passes that were just, you know, astray, which allowed them to then press, and then we was going back. And sometimes in this game, you know, you have to use the ball and keep possession. And even when we was 2-0 up there, I know, you know, of course everyone wants us to win 3-4, 5-0. But the way they were set up, you know, they allowed us to keep the ball, and, you know, winning football matches is the most important thing. And like we said, to win, it secures the seed for next summer pretty much. So, look, we'll have to look back and see where we can improve. We all know in there that, you know, it's not our finest performance, but the most important thing is that we won. Is the biggest worry how difficult you found it to break Malta down?
I don't think so. I think, you know, sometimes teams like Malta get, you know, no credit for their play and the way they set up. You know, every game you play is a different challenge, a different setup, and fair play to Malta. They defended well. They defended in that low block at times and made it difficult for us to play through. It's just like, you know, any game you play for your club in Europe or in the Premier League, you know, if you've got a team that can defend with 10, 11 behind the ball, it makes it hard, especially when we're not quite at the standard that we know we can be as well. So, all I can say is, like I say, we just keep moving forward. It's another win, and we know we need to play better on Monday, because it'll be a really tough test away.
The last time we were stood in a tunnel at Wembley was another record-breaking moment for you. You've gone and done it again, a personal one. 8 consecutive games you've now scored in for club and country. You're just keeping going with it.
Yeah, again, it was one of those games, you know. I don't have too much to do, or too much shots, too many shots, but it's just about, you know, just keep being in the right place at the right time. B, it was great build up towards a goal, and then B, had the composure to see me there in the middle when I was able to put it away. And it was nice to score here tonight, especially after the send off to Sir Bobby, and one of our greatest ever goal scorers and one of England's greatest ever players. So it was nice to be able to score on a night like that.
Yeah, it was a lovely team goal. Just one final question. Another debutant, another debut handed out by Gareth Southgate to Cole Palmer. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I thought he done really well when he come on. I thought he brought a good tempo to the game, and to be honest, he's been doing really well in training. Obviously, you've seen him doing well for Chelsea, for his club as well. So this is what we want, in the build-up to tournament football. You need competition in every place, and that's a great experience for him there, and obviously a proud moment that I'm sure he'll remember. So delighted for him, and all he's got to do is keep working hard, and I'm sure he'll get a few more.
Thanks very much, Harry. Thank you.
See you later.
There you go, Faker Others with Harry Kane, goal scorer yet again tonight, where he admitted Stuart Pearce below the usual standard, not our finest performance, all things you agree with. But perspective needed there, because that top seeding is virtually assured now. He scored yet again, and as he said at the end, Cole Palmer has given Gareth Southgate another problem, if you like, a nice headache to have in terms of selections. You can draw positives out of it, but overall, not the greatest night.
Exactly that. Draw out as many positives as you possibly can as a manager and have a look at the rest of it. He'll know, and the squad will be hurting from this performance, I believe.
Stuart, we'll see you in North Macedonia. Thank you very much. Perspective as well. Italy still haven't qualified. They won 5-2 tonight. Draw on Monday, and they're through. But if they lose to Ukraine in Leverkusen, then it is Ukraine who finished second behind England in the group. The Sports Bar Weekender with Adam Catterall and Jermaine Pennant is coming up. Those two regularly hammer Southgate's England, so stand by for more eruptions from them this evening. You can also have your say, 03717 223344. And even those like me who defend Southgate's England can't do that tonight, so fill your boots on the phones, on Talksport. It's a night when England nearly conceded in the first minute, didn't have a shot on target in the first half. Kane was booked for diving against Malta. VAR suffered a bit of FOMO, so took the attention away from England for a moment. Thousands left Wembley early. I'm fairly sure even Gareth Southgate was bored as well. England played like they're favourites for the Eurovision Song Contest rather than the European Championships. Every England team can play badly. Tonight, this one just abused that privilege. They did, however, win the game. Gareth Southgate, brace yourself. You're about to get some grief on Talksport.